Here. So I don't want to pick up Tell him again because it's too funny.
He likes to talk.
That's why we brought him in. I hope what I've done is assemble a room full of guys who like to talk, with the exception of Danny here. I know that's not the case. Danny.
We'll get him going.
So we'll see if we can get Danny fired up.
I hate interviewing guys like you in Victory Lane because they get you to fucking. Dude, remember to thank your sponsors, thank Mom and Dad, then we'll move on.
Yeah.
And that's exactly what he did, and I went,
Anthony Prego's gotten better.
Huh?
Anthony Prego's getting better at his interviews.
Who?
He's getting a lot of practice.
Prego's getting better at his
Prego?
interviews. Yeah.
Anthony was one of my favorite interviews I've done for
Dude,
the show.
Like the second time I interviewed him, I was like, Anthony, congratulations on your win, man. The car ran really good. And he just got mad. I looked at me and he was like, really? And I went, that's how you talk. You need to be an asshole.
Well, here we go. We're rolling. The show has started. For those of you guys who are listening for the first time, this is Talking Dirty with Jake, the official Orange County Fair Speedway podcast. So we're here with a bunch of drivers, and we're having what we might call a drivers roundtable. And I'm joined here by my co-host, Johnny Danger, as you might know him. And who else do we have here with us? Let's just go around, starting with John.
John Ferrier, number 220, modified driver. Yeah.
Anthony Monaco, the team manager of the Ferrier Racing.
Christ, I got a lot of names, man. I'm Little Joel Murns, the rooftop shuffler, street stock driver, car number 21, the orange pumpkin, the Amish rabbi, whatever the hell Timmy Pitts calls me. It's awesome.
John, do you have a Tim Pitts nickname?
No, actually I don't.
I don't think you did,
I don't think so, no.
All right, anyway, continuing.
Aaron Doolittle, number 45 sportsman.
That's cool. I didn't know who the hell you were when you walked in. Eventually he's going to
We'll just
say
call
his
him
name.
Simpson.
I don't know who he was. I know, okay. I know who you are now. Awesome.
Danny Morgiewicz, driver of the 15M Sportsman.
Who's your sponsor?
Helmar International.
Yeah, we got it out of him.
Good job.
All right, guys. So this is a little different from our normal format. I know John and Anthony have been on the show before. That was a little different too, because normally it's a one-on-one. It's just me and somebody else, and so this time we're going to try something a little different, a little more fun. We got Johnny here to help out and lend his expertise and his mouth.
I knew it would help out in one part of my life eventually.
At one part, eventually. I don't know. Well, I wanted to kind of just get you guys all in the room, and because we got this 100th anniversary coming up, unprecedented, crazy, big event, lots of money on the line for everybody, all divisions. Everybody's got a pretty cool purse. Sportsman Invitational. I got two guys here that are running in the Sportsman Invitational. What are you guys? What are you guys looking forward to most? I mean, this is a big weekend. I mean, you guys have one day of racing, and then I assume you're going to chill the rest of the weekend and watch the races, no?
Yeah, I'm just super stoked to be involved with it all, the 100th anniversary. I think it's just really cool. And then the rest of the weekend we'll be around helping Matt, Janiak, and everybody else on the team, floating around, watching some good racing.
Aaron, you're going to be around all weekend?
Yeah, I'll be all around.
You got somebody you're helping out with?
Not necessarily. I'll probably just be floating around the rest of the weekend.
There's a lot going on. I mean, I get my plugs in now because I'm not going to do an intro for this one, but we've got Gary Ballou doing a lecture on car building over the weekend. We've got movie screenings, cornhole tournaments, autograph sessions, and then of course vintage display cars up in the building.
I think they're showing cars, right, from 9:30 to
we're going to show cars. Yeah, you get the whole schedule with the times and everything. Go check out the website. But a lot of cool extra little things going on. So we hope a lot of the drivers will come up and hang out and do some of that stuff.
You guys didn't think about possibly maybe putting a big carburetor on your Sportsmans and trying to win $100,000?
I think it's only
Big block
open,
only.
big block only,
So
small one.
Big block.
Yeah, we
I'm a
restricted
guy,
it.
man.
We restricted
Fill me
it.
in, fill me in. guys.
Yeah, no, I mean
Okay.
the rules have kept it very like only small blocks and with the small block race, only big blocks
But
and the
here's
big
my
block
thing:
race.
you're going to run for $100,000. Wouldn't you want some of the best in the business? Even if you're running a sportsman, wouldn't you want them involved in one of the biggest races on dirt here in the East Coast right now?
That's
It's-
why they're
it's an
giving a
interesting
sportsman
question.
invitational.
Okay, but I'm saying to allow these guys to maybe put a bigger carburetor on their crate motors and try and qualify.
I saw-
Because years ago, I know the sportsman guys were allowed to try and qualify with the big blocks for Eastern States.
But they also had open motors. But I know that when we were running certain weeks, and the crate cars were faster than the big blocks on
I'm
certain
just saying.
nights. But I watched Billy
And the times did get pretty close with when the new clay went down.
surface.
Yeah,
the
it's
first,
definitely slick out there.
first couple weeks.
And I watched,
Listen, I know the big blocks are running the same time. Their fast time is what the street stocks fast times used to be. Which to me is awesome because what you've done now, you've taken guys with big giant motors and big pockets, and you've made them have to drive the car now. So now
Yeah.
you get a guy with a low buck guy have a shot at possibly winning $100,000.
But I
know
have
a lot of
seen-
people are
We're got
happy
no
about
bucks.
it.
I mean,
We have a big money.
Joel,
I'm just saying.
who in your opinion has the best shot right now?
Anthony Monaco.
Yeah.
That's my pick.
Yeah, okay.
I think
Only
Rudolph.
because
Eric Rudolph.
Now, correct me if I'm wrong,
Hands
John.
down.
He's got a coil setup.
Yeah, he does.
Coil car. So
Yes,
that'd
he
be
does.
like a Monte Carlo coil car. That's what seems to be dominating.
but there's
coil
a few
cars.
more now that have it in that field since the
Okay.
beginning
I
of the
think
season started.
Anthony has the home track advantage.
Yes.
But lately on the series and everything, Rudolph has really been tearing it up. So I think he's going to be one to not count.
So
count out
I
either.
think of four
Yeah.
guys. That's Rudolph, Perego. You got to go with Stewie Friesen
Yep.
and Matt Shepard.
I guess we should
You
do
always
some
gotta
type
say
of race
Hearn, too.
picks
I mean,
of.
you could never pull Brent Hearn out of the mix. I mean, my man's been a little off, it seems, but he's.
Well, can we pull John Ferrier out of the mix?
I think he could be in the mix.
Be in the mix.
Well, if you
I'd
don't
like
think
to
you
see
can
it.
win it, you shouldn't be
Yeah.
racing.
Well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah, if you don't think you can win the race, don't
Yeah,
go.
no, I
We
think I
think
can
we
win the
can be
race
just
for
as
sure. I wouldn't be
competitive.
here. Like I said.
We think so. We definitely think we can be. Because
Yeah.
if not, we wouldn't be here.
Right?
Yeah.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Now, you've got NASCAR experience, Arca, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so is there anything that you can take from that and bring it here this weekend?
Not really.
Even that
I
costs more or less.
swear, not really.
A majority
dirt
of these
racing,
guys are
dirt
used
racing.
to 30 laps every weekend. You guys, Arca, have run.
Yeah, we race
100
a
laps,
couple
200
hundred. Yeah,
laps.
exactly. But
So
the
can
thing
you
is,
bring that
this
to-
is a lot. This is so much more physical to drive a dirt modified than what it is to drive an ARCA car.
Okay.
Maybe on some of the short tracks in the ARCA series, you would, you get a pretty good workout. But there's nothing like what's
You get
going
bored
on out
driving
here.
that car around Daytona.
Daytona is.
Puts in six and just keeps going.
You get
I
satellite,
can eat
put
a
satellite
cheeseburger.
XM radio
I can eat
on.
a cheeseburger,
and
drink a soda going down the back
Listen,
straightaway at Daytona.
I can agree.
mean,
I can
really.
agree with that. I was told
That's
not to
why
mention this, but I'm
asphalt
going to.
racing
Listen,
sucks.
I started running
Yeah.
Bethel a little while ago, and since I've been up there, it's an asphalt track, quarter
Yeah.
mile. I haven't had a cigarette in 2 months. That's probably why I'm freaking cranky. I actually started running again because physically, I would run a 25-lap feature up there, and Sunday I was shot for the day. Man, I got 6 kids, brother. I can't do that. You know what I mean? I can't lay around on the couch on Sunday.
The last race I was in here, I drove Mike Wazlowski's car,
Yep.
and he has a 12-to-1 steering box in it.
Yeah.
And I've been used to
I've
9
driven
to,
that. Sorry, Mike.
I've been driving 9-to-1 power steering boxes since I started.
Right.
And about 15 laps into it, I felt like I was running a marathon. I was like, what is going
here's
on?
the thing with the track being the way it is now. Is it more physically demanding on you? And is the horsepower, say like what Hearn has and what Friesen has, is that going to hurt them or is that going to help them?
Well, I never raced in the new surface, but when I was racing the grit series and stuff and started here at Orange County, my favorite track I went to is Utica Rome, and Utica Rome's track looks like what
Ice
we have
capades.
here.
Yeah.
But the guys with the big motors are still winning, but you got to remember some of those guys with the big motors are going to win or do well every race they go to. But there's other guys out there that have big motors, don't have the talent.
Right.
But it's more of a handicap sometimes for some of them to be a little bit better than some others that helps them out.
Some of the big motors, though, I mean, the guys they're smart. I mean, some are very smart. There's things that can be done to take some of that horsepower
Traction
out
control?
of those. Well, I guess you could say traction control.
You said
But-
Billy Decker was coming, right? I'm just-
I mean, there's different sized carburetor spacers. There's different sized carburetors. You can retard the timing on the engines. There's a lot of things that can be done to knock 100, 150 horsepower out of these cars, and to make them so they're more drivable on
Now,
that. On
are
that
you
racetrack.
guys set on a gear, or are you guys allowed to change gear? or
Yeah,
is
we're
that
allowed to
really-
change gears.
Okay.
There's no
Yeah.
rule.
There's no rule.
right?
No.
There's no big.
No. And that's another thing. I mean, obviously, drivability with gear. I mean,
Yeah,
it makes a difference as well, for sure. So,
All right, that was easy. What's the next question, Jake?
I have one for the sportsman guys. Are you excited that there's an invitation type race only, or would you rather see 100 cars pile in the door?
Took the words out of my mouth.
Nah, I'm kind of excited for the invitational part. It basically puts us all in the spotlight. You know, gives everyone a chance to show what they got for the select few that were invited. So.
Yeah, I agree with Aaron. Everything just better chance of qualifying. Instead of Eastern States, it's so hard. You have 100 cars going for a heat race, only 2 cars qualify. If you mess up in time trials, which I normally do because I suck at time trials.
Bonsai that heat race start.
Yeah, basically.
What's the format for you guys? What do you got?
Draw.
So
heat
draw
races.
for heat races?
Yep.
So you're racing in. So it now comes down to the draw. I mean,
Yep.
not saying nobody can come from 10th to first or second in the qualifying.
No, I definitely think with this surface, it's definitely more racy. I mean,
Yeah.
last week in the Conci, I went 12th to 4th. I mean,
Heat race, I went 8th to 2nd.
Yeah.
So.
And I'm
You-
seeing a lot
you
of
can
guys
do
go
it now.
real daringly high up to that wall and are like kind of like skimming off of it a little bit, like Boniface was doing. I've seen a few
Yeah.
sportsman guys do that,
Right.
but Clinton, who's racing sportsman now,
Yeah.
he's probably the closest when I see get to that wall.
Well,
Yeah.
he raced Big Block for years.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
was known for that.
Yeah, and now he's
Yeah.
figuring out.
So-
I think he just wants to figure it out in a sportsman, and it's
Yeah.
like you may not have the power, but now he's figuring it out, and he's got some new shocks in the car, and he's been fun to watch in the sportsman class
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, he was a good driver. For sure.
Well, who you guys who you guys most worried about out there? I mean, the field is pretty narrowed down, but there's still some serious competition.
Don't worry about me; they're
Is
not
any
letting me come
outsiders coming
racing.
in? Did any outsiders get in?
Danger
Or
Nation is not on board, huh?
The list will be updated soon, I
Do
think.
you have to be a champion or something, right?
Jake,
Yeah,
Okay.
local champions, local point leaders,
What if I
local
run
track.
a race on the RC track and I'm a champion?
You could definitely get in with that.
I'm campaigning to get in. I want a fan vote. We got 2 days.
Can I get a light and sweet coffee?
Yep. Are you voting for me?
No, I just wanted you to
Vote
leave.
for Johnny instead of vote for Pedro. Vote for Johnny.
Uh-huh.
no, definitely. I mean, Grant is the man to beat right now in the class.
And
I mean,
Jared.
and Jared's right there with him.
See, I don't think a lot of you guys realize that Grant Infinger has got modified experience.
No,
yeah,
that
yeah.
guy ran here
Yep.
Really?
early
Yeah.
2000.
But I think over the
in a
years-
modified.
He was here like 10
And
years ago,
And he
around
was
that, right?
okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, he wasn't
Over the
bad.
years, I think you saw guys who big block racing and small block racing is very expensive, and guys sometimes
Yeah.
will lose their rides
Yeah.
or.
Look at Mel Schrufer.
Yep,
Yeah.
and Gary Edwards came back down at
Yeah.
one point, and
Yeah.
Brian Crummell
Crummell
spent
came
a couple
back
years
down.
in
Yeah.
the big blocks and small blocks.
He almost made a career out of it, Crummell did.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he was
But
doing
he's
good.
doing good now, though.
And he was doing so good the fans are booing, and that's
Yeah.
when you really know you
Yeah.
made it.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
can't
yeah.
wait
Yeah.
for the day a fan
Yeah.
boos for me.
That means you're doing something right.
They're
Yes,
kind of doing
absolutely.
it now, dude. We saw you at Outdoor.
If you win a couple times, they accuse you of cheating. If you win too much, now they're just booing.
I'm really into the fans that come right to the fence at Victory Lane and yell "Cheaters!" That's
Really?
that's
In the
shit's
sportsman
funny.
or all the divisions?
all the
They do it to Anthony.
But I remember when
Quite a bit.
Brian was driving one of my.
How much you could cheat on with the big block?
Listen, there was a time when they did that to me, and then I realized it was my own fault.
Well, he's been in Victory Lane for small blocks,
Small blocks
more
too.
often.
I mean,
yeah,
okay,
but-
you probably could cheat with small blocks somehow. I don't really.
You can cheat with anything.
There you go.
Yeah, you can
Johnny
cheat with
Danger says you can cheat with anything.
anything.
Well, you're all cheating.
You're not a cheater until you get caught though. So are you
That's
cheating or
true.
are you not? Because if you get arrested, then you're a felon. But if you never get caught stealing,
Well,
Are you
you're
a criminal?
arrested, but you're not convicted. So
right.
you know, until
Real,
the
real
judge
talk.
says-
Has anybody in here been caught cheating here at Orange County?
Has-
No. So y'all gotten away with
When
it.
I let
one,
Brett-
one time.
when I
That
let
was,
Brett drive my car, they
Oh well, that
they
was.
they
tore
just-
that thing apart.
He
But
stole
they
my
didn't even know what they were looking
qualifying
for
spot
after a
away.
while. They thought my shocks were adjustable, and they didn't even know what end to look on.
Yeah, one time they
That
said my
sounds about
carburetor was in question. I kind of
Was it in question or was it illegal?
No, it was. That's a whole other show.
Okay, that's another show for
That's
another
a
day.
whole other show.
Cheaters and liars.
Bottom line, though, I was right. They were wrong.
Okay.
If you won cheating, would you feel less or better
Win's
about
a
it?
win, brother.
A win's a win.
Let's move
right,
on.
right.
Next question.
Right. I think so too. Especially if you already took the picture.
I'm just
If
saying.
you took the picture, it's definitely a win, right?
Lance Armstrong.
I'm
when they-
good for one or two a year, and then after that. So if those one or two, I got a little
Yeah.
whatever, man.
Lance Armstrong, he's
Listen,
won
I
all those
lie to my
races.
kids. Dad, you did a great job. I sure did. But we need to thank Pete Matthews, Engine Shop, Middletown, New York.
And a great engine.
What? My phone's ringing.
He timed it.
That's funny. That's funny.
Here's a silly question for everybody. We'll go around in the circle. What is the worst absolute worst car in the world? Like, what is there when you see it come down the street and you're just like, that thing is hideous, and I would never drive it?
Bob Slade street stock. Right? What is he, the point leader now? Yeah. Even we have a shootout series that goes Accord, Bethel, Orange County.
Yep.
And I got lucky enough to, and I'm one of the guys that puts it on myself, Charlie Hotel and Kyle Wright, shameless plug. I'm going to do it right now.
Right, and that culminates with Eastern States, right?
It does. Eastern States will be our second race this year for the street stocks, and Bob Slate won it last year. Bob is really good at Accord. He's really good here in Middletown. He's leading the points. And, I was lucky enough to win it, I think 2 years ago, something like that. But whenever I see Bob's car, I know I'm probably going to run for second. So I'm going to say Bob Slade's Camaro.
Has anyone ever drove their street stock to the track and raced it?
My Uncle Rich did, yes. Yeah.
I want
Put a
that.
plate on it, do you have a
I
plate?
think we should have a series
This
now
was
that you
back
have
in
to
the
drive your
80s.
car to the track,
Back
or
in
you
the
can't
80s.
A lot
race
of
it.
guys
drove
do
down
the four
there.
cylinders,
He-
especially up north more. They
gonna
drive
s-
their four
Well, they
cylinders.
can't afford a trailer.
Yeah, back in the day, like old White Lake Speedway days, he would drive the car to the track, race it, and then drive it home. I think the only ones that have done that recently, within the past 20 years, would be the Dembecks. Tom and Andy Dembeck. I think they drove enduro cars here.
Here?
Yes.
From Goshen?
No,
From-
they
they
were
live
only
right here in
over
Middletown.
Yeah, they were
I
only
thought they were
really
Tom
close.
did.
That'd be a great
Yeah.
Danger Nation video.
Those
be
guys are
amazing.
not right in the head anyway.
That'd be amazing.
Love you, Tom.
The ugliest car out there is a Volkswagen Bug with eyelashes.
The new
ones.
ones.
Right?
Yeah, the one you drove here.
Yeah, the one I
The one
drove.
John drove here. The one John
That's
drove
the
here.
worst.
Yeah, those are pretty terrible.
Yeah, they're pretty bad.
Not a
They have
fan.
eyelashes on them. It's over.
I think a smart car. I think a smart car is
Yeah.
ugly. It's terrible. I want to pick
Well,
one up and put one in my dump truck.
What is
I could pick
Are you
one up.
smart enough to drive it?
No.
But what is the point of that? I want to put a penny in the back of it and see if it just spins around. Remember the old penny racers?
Yeah.
This is before
They
your
still
time,
have them.
guys.
They still have them.
Do they?
Walmart when you're walking
Yeah.
Oh
out
my God, they're retarded.
next to the door greeter.
There's no point to it.
I don't know why people put dollars in them.
Dollars in what? Am I missing something?
Yeah, this thing you put a coin in, it spins around.
What spins around?
The penny racer. Remember
Next
you
time you're at
said-
Walmart on your way out.
Wind up.
I don't go to Walmart. My wife. I'm sorry. My wife goes to Walmart. I don't know.
Oh, I'm talking about
I
different.
thought you were too good for Walmart or
Yeah.
something. I was like, get the
Yeah.
No, I don't
The
go
fuck outta here.
Oh, I'm talking about that thing at the store you donate
Now
money
I
to
see
and it goes
why
to
you
a
say those shoes
charity.
games. I see what you have as a sponsor.
Penny spinner.
right?
We are
Yeah.
too
What's
young.
this for? Nothing. Just sign here.
We are too young.
Yeah.
You're
It's not inviting old guys again.
car, right?
No, that like.
Oh, the little machine.
It's
They,
the
oh, the
little
donation
matchbox.
for the
Yeah,
Kiwanis
yeah.
or
Yeah,
whatever
we
it might
put
be.
dollars in
They're
those
talking
things.
about-
We are too young
okay.
because I don't know what he's talking about.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. Okay, I got you.
Jesus, guys.
Dude, this was back when I was actually able to use shampoo.
All right, move on. The listeners are like tuning out right
Yeah,
now.
like,
Come on,
yeah,
good.
all right.
It's not live.
Well, that's probably not a bad thing.
No, we don't go live.
So you're racing in the 100,000 to win race. Like, what is it? Are you excited about that amount of money to race for? Like, what do you think about this? You coming up on
I mean,
it? Nervous?
am I nervous?
Shaken?
No, not really. I've just been trying to, the last number of days especially, I mean, I've been going over every single thing in my mind, anything that I could potentially, get out of the way that might come and bite me in the
Right.
what. Yeah, I'm absolutely excited. I mean, 100 years, to be part of it.
You won
Absolutely.
Syracuse in the Sportsman. That was a
I
big
did.
deal. And I remember you telling people, like, when you go to that race, you got to
That's
go through
awesome.
every nut and bolt in that car. You
I
have
was
to.
there. That was
Exactly.
awesome.
Preparation is everything. I
Right.
mean, everybody here knows if you come to the racetrack and you're not prepared and you're behind the eight ball, you never make that up. Okay? So the only way to be, on the positive side is to get in there, and winning is done in the shop, and that's a very true statement. And that's what we've been doing for the last since Saturday night. We've been in the shop. I know it's only
It started
Tuesday
Saturday
here.
night after the
and
races.
It started after the races, and we've been in there, going right at it. And this past Saturday night, actually, I was really using the two features as a test session. I was doing all kinds of different things on the racetrack. I didn't care if people were passing me or not. It might sound absolutely crazy. I was starting deep in the field anyway. I was starting like 18th or 20th.
Putting all your eggs in one basket.
And I was like, you know what? Let's do this to the car, and I'll go out there and run. And then I ran up on the wall, and then Then we came in. We made a couple other changes to it, and I learned a lot of things on this past Saturday night with the two features, and all for preparation for this coming week for that racetrack, because that racetrack is very, very difficult.
Right, and you raced ARCA, you raced
Yes.
Syracuse. Like, is
Yes.
this more nerve-wracking or more?
Orange County to me is one of the toughest racetracks. It just really is, because the speed that you're going is one thing, but also the speed, and I know it's very physically demanding. If you're going to go out there and you're going to run more than 30 laps, you are going to get one hell of a workout. So you got to be not only mentally, in tune, but also physically you got to be in tune as well.
But here's the one. The last year they had Syracuse, we actually went up with a pro stock. And when I pulled in, physically looked down the track, I went, oh my God, what am I doing here? And then I actually went out there and I went, that's it? I think anybody who runs Orange County on a weekly basis, whether it be a 4-cylinder, a street stock, a sportsman, small block modified, and then go out on the road, they're going to go to these other tracks and go, that's it? Because Middletown is so big and it's so demanding. And, you may not have the biggest motor out here, but you could still be fast if you got big enough balls to run the car in. And my question to you guys would be, you got a lot of big money that's coming in here. Guys that this is what they do for a living, week in and week out.
Yeah.
But you're going to come here for $100,000. Why? Because of that outside chance that, with 2 to go, there may be a 6-car pileup. I'm running 7th, and I'm going to win.
Telling me there's a
Yes.
I do believe that I do stand a chance of winning this race, and we were joking around
And I agree
earlier,
with
but
you, and I'm not saying
I
that 'cause
do.
you're sitting here, but
and
I agree with
I
you
know, and I
100%.
believe that
Absolutely.
some of the other local guys, the Crummels and some of the other guys, we
The
do stand a
Higbee and
chance.
all these guys.
I mean, this racetrack is very, very difficult. I mean, I know the guys upstate run on these type of surfaces more. Okay, but it's not going to take us long to figure it all out and to get up to where we need to be competitive.
You got 2 days going into that $100,000 race.
And you have an advantage because you've had a couple weeks on it,
Right.
where
A
these
couple
guys
weeks.
haven't gone on it yet.
There's home track advantage. I mean, I think I believe that. This is our house. This is our home.
Yeah,
We come
absolutely.
here every week,
Yeah.
Absolutely. So, I mean, you're going to be racing against the best, but you know what? They're racing on the same thing that you are. I have some fantastic equipment. I mean, I do have one of those big dollar motors, and I got a brand new car, just only 2 weeks old. So it's just a matter of me putting the whole puzzle together at the right time.
now, is
That's
this-
And a little bit of luck.
Are you guys
Well, it's
prepping
all
for
luck.
this
Some of
race?
it is luck.
Yeah.
Are you prepping for this race like you would Syracuse?
Absolutely.
I know a lot of guys when they go to Syracuse, they got brand new everything, brand new cars, brand new motors.
We
brand
did
new
that
everything. Yeah.
Not with a brand new car. We actually
Well, the
did
year
Syracuse
that
without.
the year that I won Syracuse was that year. It wasn't a brand new car, but we pretty much took the car that we were running. We didn't race it for a month, and we literally worked on that almost every day too. We pretty much rebuilt it from the ground up, all the way from the transmission to the rear end had the motor redone. Brand new aerodynamic body was put onto it, so it was. And I gotta say, that Syracuse race was that whole week that I was there. It was amazing because we were so prepared. Any little thing that was going to go wrong or started to go wrong, we were right on top of it and it was done. It was one of the easiest transitions, days before to race day.
Right.
It really was because it just seemed like all of our everything, T's were crossed.
What about you guys?
Everything
You guys
was
got brand
ready
new
to go.
stuff coming into this weekend? Or you're just
No.
running your regular Friday, Saturday night stuff?
Well, is new stuff an advantage? Or is
Depends.
it
How old your old stuff was.
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Because in
That's-
my last episode, what was I talking with Bill Pasquale? I was talking about his 2015 TO does better than his brand new one.
If you look at Brett,
and it's different at every track, or
look
it's
at Brett-
different in every
yeah.
situation.
if you look at Brett Hearn's equipment, he does not run brand new chassis every year. He takes care of his equipment, repairs it, and really does a good job. Having a budget like that, and has
I
chassis
wasn't
that are
gonna. We
pretty
weren't
old.
gonna buy a brand new. We just bought a chassis and a body. I
Yeah.
wasn't going to, but Orange County here was extremely rough early in the year, so I just decided we made a decision.
yeah.
The car itself still has the same components in it, the other one did, but we switched out the chassis because I know there was a lot
Aside from
of weird flexing.
voodoo
going on there
magic,
that
it should be the same thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
Just
Essentially.
newer.
Yeah.
Yeah, just the frame body and some other things. You start looking at the prices and stuff.
Mhm.
It's dollars and cents, and sometimes it makes sense. You're going to spend $6,000-7,000 to fix this one.
Well, it'd be
for-
devastating to break on that first day because he went into it
Exactly,
with
and you got to remember who you're racing against.
Yeah.
You're racing
Guys
against
that do have
people that
top
have top,
Yeah.
stuff. People that have the unlimited budgets that they just.
And if that one breaks,
Yeah.
they pull another one out.
Exactly.
We don't have
Yeah.
that.
To
luxury.
Johnny's point about Brett Hearn, do you guys kind of feel like that he's been just like laying in the weeds this whole season? Like he's not winning any features. But
I think what it looks like
he's just
is-
been like hanging back, he's not taking care of his equipment and just racking up those points. Like
I
what
think
is
he's
that
there.
about?
I think
just
he's
there.
playing smart,
Yeah.
and he doesn't force the issue
Yeah.
of having to pass someone and putting himself in the danger of.
20 years ago, that guy was the guy that beat. Now I think everybody's just caught up to where he was. And
He was one of the
that's,
first
know,
people to take
Yeah.
it to a professional type
everybody,
level.
oh,
make
well,
a
you know,
living
he
on
is
it.
getting older. I understand that, but the guy is still, and he's still winning races. He doesn't
Doesn't
do
win
as
as
much
many.
as he did.
But he's not going as he was.
But
Anthony
everybody's-
Monaco 30 years ago.
You know, John's got the same stuff that he's got. You know what I'm saying? And it's just, you know, I think that it went from he was here and everybody else, it took a while to catch up. You know.
Well, you can buy stuff now off the shelf.
Yeah.
But you
Yeah,
got to know
right.
what
Yeah.
you want. You got to know what you're supposed to be buying and the combinations of things to make it work.
And how to use the tools you're buying.
Yeah,
This is
exactly.
something. Here's something I wanted to do years ago, and I don't know why I never did. Probably because I'm poor. But I wanted to take modified guys and put them in street stocks.
You did it with Clinton.
We did, yes. As a matter of fact, yes, we did. Yeah, my brother-in-law and I, we put Clinton Mills in one of our street stocks. Because you're taking something that's 30 years old and you're trying to make it do something that it's not supposed to do. You know, so that's where the ingenuity comes in. Whereas now, like John just said, now you can walk over, you can buy something right off the shelf. With the street
Right.
stock, you can't do it. You know what? Let's do away with the modifies this weekend. I'll get 24 street stock guys to put modified guys in and let you guys run for $100,000. I think that'd be awesome.
I think we should just pick cars out of the parking lot and ask the fans to let us drive them.
Where's my coffee at, John? I'm just saying.
Did you say milk or creamer?
You know?
Well, I mean, that would certainly be a show. I mean,
But you got to remember too. You got. I think two guys in the field ran Steve Dodd and Tommy Meyer. They came from
street stocks. Yeah.
You know, and then of course John with the Arca too. I mean that's a street stock on steroids. Lots and lots of steroids.
It's a lot of steroids.
I'm just saying.
It's on pavement.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
That's interesting. The whole pavement thing and how it, to you at least in your experience, that it was like not physically taxing. I mean,
It's more mental.
What
That's
is-
more of a mental thing
Yeah.
as far as staying focused. And
but in
doing
terms of
that.
staying in shape, what do you do? I mean, do you get all your
Drink
workout
beer.
during the day? Do you drink
beer
beer
at night.
Do you have a do you work
Eat
out
eggs in the
first?
morning.
I'm a man.
Drink a raw egg every morning?
No,
Or?
I'm one of the. Well, John, he'd be able to tell because I install swimming pools.
Right.
So I mean, I'm in the sun and I'm physically working every day.
Yeah.
So I'm usually in pretty decent shape as far as for my age, and I'm not really heavy or you know what I
pretty
mean.
old.
So I have pretty good stamina just because of the stuff that I do.
Oh, okay.
You know, I'm
Old and out of your prime in the NASCAR
picking-
world.
Yeah, I know. Well, that's the way that
He's
is.
always
What are you gonna do?
Racing's the only sport where you retire from professional and go back racing amateur.
Yeah, pretty much, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
A lot of guys. Yeah, a lot of guys.
They go back to having fun.
Do you think it's purely like a political media image thing that NASCAR and the upper levels don't want to let these older guys run, or do you think that there really is they start to kind of lose the competitive edge?
I think it's really a good discussion for another episode on the podcast, but I can go on and about it because it's been bothering me, but it's kind of I think it's more of a money deal of who pays someone to get out of a car and who pays someone to get in one,
It's
because
all money.
that's how the teams make money.
It's not about anything else. It's all
Sean
money.
Corr's a good buddy of mine, and I've even talked to him and stuff. And Sean said, a lot of it too is, the kids are younger, their reaction time's a lot better. But I think majority of it is, Tony Stewart and all them guys say they're not earning their way in. It's just who's got the most money, who's got a big pocket. You know what I mean? Christian Eckes lives right over the street, right up the road from me. And from what I understand, that ride cost him $4 million this year for that ride. That's ridiculous.
It's like $155,000 a race.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah.
But
Tommy Vi, sportsman guy, he's been running ARCA this year, and he's been doing a couple of starting parks and stuff because the money just ran out. But he's 6th in points, battling for Rookie of the Year, and because the money's not there, you know what I mean? It's just
But he goes to every event. He's at every event.
you look at Tony Stewart and he leaves.
But do you think
racing-
that's because Tommy Vi is a great example. I mean, great guy, beloved by fans here and everything, right? But like out on a national circuit, is he too old or too
No,
to be
because
viable?
he's running sprint cars, which take a lot more work than a NASCAR. 1-to-1, almost
Sports-
1-to-1
yeah,
power
he's
to weight
running
ratio, and he's
No, he's running a
Sports-
Tommy Vi. They're talking about Tommy.
Oh, Tommy Vi. I thought you
No,
said
I'm talking about Tony Stewart.
Stewart.
Tommy Vi.
Listen, Tommy Vi's ride that he has, and please, hopefully nobody hears that I shouldn't, but the equipment that he's in is not on the up and up. I mean, he's not on the cutting edge of the
Correct.
Venturinis
Yep.
and the
Yep.
Empires like Sean Cor's team.
Right.
They spend a
Chad
tremendous
Ryan
amount of
is-
time
yeah,
on wind
yeah,
tunnels and dynos.
they're not. They're there to put a car on at every ARCA
Every
event.
event.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter if that car finishes last as well as it makes it.
Here's my thing,
and
and as a car owner and as a sponsor, I would want somebody who's got experience, who's been around a while, and is not going to tear my stuff up to drive a car than have some young kid who doesn't give a shit. Yeah. You got another one? Cool, pull it out of the trailer.
To see Greg Biffle come back and win a truck race against kids, and he's retired, how long has he been out for, and wins a truck race in his first time back?
It's the same thing with a modified. If I wanted to move up to the modified division, I would hope that somebody would go, you know what, yeah, he spent, 19 years in a street stock, but he's not wrecking his stuff. Yeah, we're going to learn. It's going to take a little bit.
But then why wouldn't they go with, like, Danny
But then there you go. Now you got Danny here, who's running sportsman.
5 years now, right?
Yeah, 3 years sportsman.
Yeah, this is my 4th year of sportsman.
Yeah. But again, he's running Accor, doing good. He's got a couple feature wins up there.
Yeah.
Doolittle's been around a long time. I know I've mentioned his name quite a few times. You know what I mean? And
big on seat time too.
Being me as a car owner, I would want somebody who's not going to tear my shit up.
I mean, do you guys, as younger drivers, do you feel like a pressure to kind of hit a point before you kind of peak or get,
Like, what's your goal in racing? You plan on staying dirt, or you looking towards NASCAR? Because you got a hell of a sponsor right now, man.
Yeah, we do. I mean, NASCAR is top goal, but if I can't make it to NASCAR, I'd love to do a Super Dirt Car Series for a season or two just to live life on the road. And
do it while you're young.
You ain't got kids, right?
No.
Do it while you're young.
Yeah, dude.
Definitely do it while you're young.
That whole NASCAR thing, it's a business.
Yeah.
And with it being a business, it revolves around tremendous money.
Yeah.
So, they have to get people in there that are able to write big checks to these race teams so that the teams can employ the people. It's just,
But
that's the thing.
That's not originally what, racing and the grassroots racing and even NASCAR is about. You saw how they traveled around Richard Petty's days, and it's just gotten so crazy that now they have to have accounted for. All the crew guys have to have numbers, and you can't bring in other people because they were playing tricks with engineers in the cup level. So they've created the monster themselves, allowing everyone to do the things they do.
I've only been to Daytona once with John, and I've been to Pocono a couple times, and I've never, just to see the ARCA stuff, and I was like, oh my God, what are we doing here? Not saying that John
felt
can't
like a small
do that.
Fish, or?
Oh yeah, I'm like,
listen, I went to the last Pocono race, for ARCA with Tommy Vine, and there's literally probably 5 teams where they had engineers, they had, you name it, they had it, and then there was the rest of us. We were eating hot dogs, and guys were smoking. You know what I mean? It was just like.
You ever see Norm Benning at the race? It's my favorite.
Like, you could tell.
They fly in the pit crew.
Those are the teams. Those are the teams that have NASCAR, affiliations.
Yeah.
Like Venturini's is really a driver development team for Joe Gibbs.
Right.
So anybody that comes rolling in that potentially Joe Gibbs is looking at as a young person to get it behind the wheel, they initially go to Venturini Motorsports, and because they share the technology down, and that's where they groom them up through. It's very similar to sort of like here. You have your upper echelon of people that run really, really well, and really good teams, and then some, as you make your way down, aren't as good, but they're there.
But
you know what I mean?
Here's what I think getting back, we're kind of getting off this weekend is what I think is going to be so awesome about it is the fact that you have Brett Deo's short track Super Series guys coming.
Yep.
You got Super Dirt Car Series guys coming. You got the best of the best of the best that's going to be here this weekend. And me as a fan, I can't wait to see that. I can't wait to see guys like John, local guys like John, and like Anthony. Well, I can't really say Anthony too much anymore because he's on the road a lot, but a lot of like the local guys beat up on these guys. And I would love to see somebody like him walk out of there with $100,000.
So would I.
You know what I'm saying?
No, but even if it wasn't me,
that's what's going to bring me, and I think that's what's going to bring people to this racetrack. Is
like
because
David and Goliath.
even if it wasn't me that won $100,000, I couldn't imagine.
Who's David?
They
who's
want to
Goliath?
see Lanky Johnson beat the shit out of Brett Hurd, Billy Becker, and all them guys. Who the hell's Lanky Johnson? Exactly. You're about to find out. You know what I mean? Because
that's the thing.
It's a moment
Earnhardt
someone
said
can make
it.
a name
Not
for
everybody
themselves.
can be in NASCAR,
Exactly,
and
yeah.
this weekend, dude, it's going to be. I think it's going to be absolutely
This weekend,
awesome.
a regular guy that runs Orange County Weekly can make a huge name for himself all of a sudden because there's a lot of attention.
Look
on
at
it
Clinton
now.
Mills a few years ago at Eastern States. He finished second. And now you mention Clinton Mills and go, oh, that's the guy that finished second. Nobody remembers who the hell won that race. I think it was Tim McCready. I think I was actually calling that race that day. But,
I think Danny Johnson won that race that year.
Tim McCready did 2010.
Yeah.
Is that when Clinton
But
finished second?
you mentioned
Okay.
Clinton Mills, even upstate, and people go, "Oh yeah, that's the guy that finished second."
Yeah.
Because this is going to be one of those.
But even
weekends.
leading up to this race, we started to see the invaders come in to get their seat time here
Yeah,
because
sure.
they're so. But and
We got
that's
new
been
guys
making
here.
the racing lately so
When was
good.
the last time you saw Phelps here during a regular Saturday night race, just to show up and race?
Even
only
Fauci,
Eastern
when
State's
was
here
the
when he
last
comes in
time he
now.
was here?
Yeah.
Pouch has been 37 years.
Listen, even
37
though
year
I'm a
absence.
little street
Since
stock
he's been
guy,
here.
you know,
Yeah.
they had a big race for us a couple of weeks ago, and that was 3,500 to win. You don't see that anywhere.
No, and actually got to shout out all our fans who contributed to that because
Oh, that was
that purse
awesome.
started much lower, and actually at the event there was a number of fans all.
And
all
right
threw
now,
down.
people are going to ask, well, you know, if it was so awesome and you don't see that, why weren't you here? Because we're in a tight points battle where we are. And that was only legitimately the only reason that I did not come to that weekend. But for $3,500, you're not getting that at the Valley, Utica, Rome, Fonda, Mall. You're not
Yeah,
getting
Chase
Do you have
money,
more than
not
one
the
car,
points.
or do you have your car set up in a way where you could go from asphalt to dirt
I
fairly
have-
easily?
I am one of the guys. I'm one of the very few guys. I have more than one car.
Okay, yeah.
I have.
I can't imagine it's easy to go back and forth with that
It
setup.
is. It is unbelievable. It's not as easy as it would be for a sportsman or a modified guy. We have to
Yeah.
change shocks, springs, the complete rear end. Sometimes the transmission, you go from a power glide to a 350 turbo to possibly a 3-speed, depending on what the combination is.
Is it
In
harder
order
to
for-
find parts for those things now?
I have a Monte Carlo. That's my main car, and I can pretty much open up any racing magazine and order parts for.
Aftermarket,
I
like,
was a die-hard Camaro guy for years, and those you have to know somebody who knows somebody, and then they want $1 million for the shit.
Because on the recent videos you're watching of how like the 100 years of Orange County has happened, you learn about the cars a little bit, and it was harder and harder to find the parts for those cars. Which
For
led over-
Camaros, it is unbelievably hard to find parts for.
The
For-
Camaros still perform really well, though. No, I mean,
They're very good on a dry slick track. The Monte
Yeah.
Carlos are more of a hard dry slick track, an asphalt track, because they're a coil car. Anthony Monaco.
Right.
You know, I went to a coil car a couple of years ago, and I should have bought one 10 years ago because they're that much better.
There's a guy that races in your class, and he's got a maroon car that looks like it belongs in a car show. It's like an old Camaro, maybe.
Camaro maroon. I'm trying to think. You're thinking of the 33.
Yeah, that car looks
Okay.
like it.
That's,
that thing looks like it belongs in a museum. or
Johnny
something.
Lito's car owner. Who's Johnny Lito's car? Ken Hermans. That's actually a vintage car that he purchased and redid himself. That car's gorgeous.
Yeah.
I wouldn't want to run that with us.
No, if I went
We're
by it, I'd be
assholes,
guaranteed
man.
to give him a little dent in it.
I would donut the side of that just cause.
Yeah, give him some new stripes.
Just so that, if you ever want to race, I'd still be in victory lane. Oh, look at what you
Johnny, I heard you say that the videos that you guys are putting out.
Yeah, we got to talk
You want
about
to
that.
talk
man.
about awesome? Dude, I'm sure, obviously, Johnny probably saw
Right.
them all already, but I'm like, that's crazy the stuff that they're talking about and they're doing. Have you watched them, John? Have you seen them?
I only seen episode 4 because I just happened to see it today and I watched
Yeah.
it. I got
So we're up
obviously the first
to
3.
5 episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Go check out foxsports.com. It's in the NASCAR tab.
Yeah.
It's in the trending videos section, so it should be really easy to find. 5 episodes. It starts with the pre-war history, and then
All the way up.
all
My
the way
boy
up.
Timmy
Yeah, how cool
Pitts
is
needs
that?
to sell his ice cream shop and just work for the History Channel.
You know, do you feel like
He's
that
narrating
sounds different from Tim Pitts'
Yes,
announcer
yeah,
voice?
does not sound
You-
like Tim
if,
Pitts,
if
yeah.
somebody told you, if they didn't tell you it was Tim Pitts, if you didn't see his name pop up, would you think it was him?
No way.
Yeah,
I would.
Would you? I mean,
Well, I know
did.
Timmy, yeah.
I maybe would have realized it
Different tone,
eventually,
yeah.
but he's got a
Yeah, he
totally
uses-
different.
The
Yeah.
tone is different. Yeah.
Yep. It's more
That guy's been here for
somber,
over
serious
30
tone
years.
versus
Yes,
his
no.
announcer voice, which is
Awesome
more
Tim.
like
Yeah.
hyped up. Yeah.
No, but that's an awesome thing you guys are doing. That's like
Yeah, that's cool.
about even the horse that's over here
Yeah.
somewhere. In
Well,
the
like you were
corner.
saying, I mean, the amount of attention on Orange County right now, it's like higher than it's ever been, and it's crazy. There's national attention on this race. There's people coming from states over. I mean, this is a big deal. So the winner of this race not only walks away with $100,000, but the prestige and the attention,
Oh, yeah.
and all this. I mean, it's going to live stream.
It's almost like
it's
a
gonna,
new Knoxville, a new Eldora.
Yeah.
It really is.
Well,
And it's something that can make its own history if it keeps going or whatever it's going
It's
to happen.
the
to
only
it.
thing
Something
that
Well,
is-
no, this is once in a lifetime,
Yeah.
man.
So
Like
how
that's
many-
the thing.
yeah.
You cannot miss this event because you will unfortunately be long dead before
Yeah,
anything
yeah.
like this
Ever
happens
again.
It's just the way
If
it is.
dirt racing's
You
even
can't-
available,
right?
it's
You
100
can't,
years
you
more.
cannot miss this as a race fan. You cannot miss this event. If the Stanley Cup happened only once every 100 years, and you liked hockey, would you miss that event?
No.
No.
What kind of attendance do you think is coming here this week?
Yeah, I was going to ask how many
What do you think?
how many big blocks you think
Well,
are going to check in? How many? What's
It'd be
everybody's
cool.
ideas
It'd be
on
cool
that?
to hit 100, but I don't know. I don't know if we'll quite get to 100 big blocks. But that would just be too perfect.
How many are starting the feature?
44. Right?
44.
44 cars
Jesus.
starting the feature, right?
Yeah.
So you get, even if you get 65 modifieds from all over
Yeah.
the country, dude, that's
I think
a lot.
I think realistically you get up almost 70, right?
That's what I think. It's going to
Yeah.
be similar to an Eastern State.
Well, you got to
Yeah.
remember you have to actually.
You have to have the big block.
Right.
motor.
So a lot
It's
of
a
guys
little
like
different.
Jersey, they don't run big blocks down there too much, right?
Not
No.
as much, right?
Right.
There's very few other big
Bridgeport
blocks.
runs big blocks.
Bridgeport.
Jersey.
What about
Grandview's a big block track. right?
Grandview?
No,
Grandview's
a
Grandview's
small
small
block.
block.
Small block.
Yeah. So I mean, really, on a Saturday night around here, I mean, you got us, you got the Valley, you got a couple other places.
Yeah,
right?
but how many of these guys are actually going to their engine builders and building a big block just
I
to
know.
come
I-
here?
Some of them have them, some of them borrow them. I think I heard
right?
Strunky's
Strunky
coming.
built a brand new one, I think.
One of
Who's
my
that?
favorite people.
Strunky?
He got a
Kevlar.
Kevlar.
They got a Kevlar, yeah.
Yep.
They got a Kevlar.
One of my
I
favorite
saw
people
that.
at Grandview's Jeff Strunk. He's just
When was the last time you saw Billy Pouch here?
What'd you
I
say?
don't think I was alive.
I think it was 37 years.
37 years.
Right?
I was
37
right.
years.
Okay.
I didn't exist.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, no, I was
It's-
right.
Yeah.
He became an outlaw and left
Yeah,
here.
me too.
Yeah, he's running the Jersey Series and all that kind of stuff, right? That's where Pouch was running.
I think there was a little mishap on something, and he claimed he never wanted to come back.
Here.
Did he run here regularly then? He ran here regularly?
For like a year, right?
I think he came often. I don't know how many years he ran like full seasons here, but I know there was a tech issue or something that had caused him not to want to come back.
Wow.
Yeah, I remember he did
Well,
an
he must
interview
be a
early
pretty
in the
stubborn
season.
guy,
Said he'd
37
come
years.
back.
37 years.
He's like that guy
He had
dying
his
on
mind
grave.
made up, and
I
that
will
was
not
it.
forgive
Yeah, he
you.
was saying he'd come back if the lights were fixed.
Yeah, you
So-
come back if the lights were fixed, is what they said.
I always
Oh,
said
the lights
the
are
lights need to be
fixed.
brighter.
Yeah, and new catch fences.
Listen, that's a
and
rite.
new race
That's a
surface.
rite of
Thank God the
passage,
fences
right?
fixed.
You know, you.
How
this-
cool are those fences too?
Yeah,
That's
no,
the whole
no,
back.
This place needed it so bad because that was a real
Yeah.
safety issue.
Listen,
Yeah.
there was a year when I was actually
It's like
leading
racing
the
in your
feature,
closet.
came down the front stretch, and lights went out, and I went, "Oh shit, that's a rite of passage here in Orange County, dude.
Yeah,
You
well,
ain't
that sounds
nobody
like,
till you've run a
yeah,
race here and the
Cut
lights
through the
went out."
pits.
I was reading in the hard clay book that back in the day when they first put lights up, that they didn't have walls yet either, so it was a constant problem. Guys would take out the light poles and then shut down the race because
Yeah.
they'd be in a circuit. You take down one, they all go down.
Yeah.
Oh my.
So 100 years of history. How many? When did you
Like
start
Christmas
coming
lights.
in?
hmm
Like,
2000
what's your tie into Orange County? Just you had family that ran here?
Matt Janiak.
Okay.
We were sponsoring him at the time,
Okay.
and just got hooked from there. Going into pits with Matt, helping him, and then eventually I wanted to get my own race car, and we started Slingshots, and from there we got Sportsman.
How about you?
My dad always helped Tim and Tom Hindley out,
Okay.
and
Brian Cromwell.
Nice.
Brian Crummell. Yeah, my dad.
And he helped me some too.
Yep,
He
my
did.
dad helped John.
Yeah.
Brian Crummell. He actually put Brian in his first Sportsman after what? Forget who.
Too
drove it.
many years of go-kart racing.
Yeah, too many years of go-kart racing. Joey Accardo actually got in the car, and then Brian was like, "No more," and yeah. So that's where.
So for me, my father was an official here for almost 40 years. He was in charge of street stocks. I think he was race director for a while, the early 2000s, and then I started racing here. And
We put him right there in the middle of our
That was awesome.
full fender
You
nostalgia
don't know
night
how much
poster.
you guys humbled that guy. You really
Yeah?
did. You know,
Okay.
he really, really appreciated that. And I don't think he
Hey,
realized.
Doug
how-
made sure when I designed that, he said, make sure
Yeah,
you
I
get
don't think
him
he realized how
prominently
famous
featured.
he actually is. I said, Dad, people know who you are.
Well, that's when you actually are famous. Because if you have to tell someone who you are not.
Right?
Yep.
Right? So, and he just, I'm not going to lie, man, that humbled him, that brought tears to his eyes. And that's much, much appreciated from you guys, what you did for him that night. And even the people that came up and went, if it wasn't for you, the street stocks wouldn't have been around. And this, and it's just, that was awesome. And then for me to continue that, as a driver and as an announcer, I was the announcer here for a few years when Timmy left. And just the history of this place. What about you? I know you guys been around. You, your brothers.
Been around a long time.
Oh my gosh. I think your brother, I
still-
think Scott was actually. I'm gonna put this out there. Was pissed off at my father one year.
No, that's not surprising.
He said, I said, Dad, why is Scott yelling at you? He goes, he thinks I cost him a championship. I'm like, well, did you? And then he walked away. Didn't answer the question.
Your brother made it on national TV.
Yes, he
Mac
did.
Yes,
yeah,
he
yeah,
did.
yeah, he did. Yeah. No,
Was that a brawl?
Yes.
Yeah, they're up and
Yeah.
at
Did he get on Sports
With the
Center?
Rickies.
No, he got on
With the Rickies, with Mike Ricky.
Oh,
Yeah,
Whacked Out
Mike
Sports.
Whacked Out
Yeah,
Sports.
Whacked Out Sports.
Whacked
Yeah.
Out
It was
Sports.
awesome.
Yeah.
Have you
It's still,
seen the video?
it's still
No.
on.
Still out
Occasionally they
there.
run it every
yeah.
couple years.
Johnny,
Yeah.
pull it up on your iPad.
You get a good laugh out of that.
So yeah, we've been coming here. I mean, since the '70s.
Yeah.
You know, obviously I was a young kid, but we used to sit up on the right across where Elliot's. There was always those trees and stuff there, and we used to climb in the trees and stand on my father's roof of his car and look over the
I think there's
fence.
still car seats up in those trees, right?
Probably
Jimmy
is.
House owns that
Yeah,
now or something.
yeah, so-
Mustang seats, right?
Yeah.
And why did you start coming to the races?
Because I came because my dad was your friend, and then we come and watch you. So we would come here on Saturday nights and Sunday. My
Yeah.
dad and I went up to
Yeah.
Oakland Valley racing.
Yep.
So I think this weekend, right? We've heard a lot of my friend.
Yeah.
People are gonna grab people and go, listen, my friend, you're gonna want to come watch this.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're gonna watch my friend drive or whatever the case may be.
People can say whatever they want on social media. All these keyboard warriors, all these dumbasses that are on there who think they know how to run everything. Listen, Mr. Halmar, you know, everybody that's involved with what they've done with this racetrack, we appreciate you. We really do. Sometimes it takes little steps in order to make big giant steps, and do what you're doing this weekend is absolutely awesome.
And how about the concert? That stage is looking awesome down there.
So you guys
Yeah,
got to
no,
take a
man.
look. I
took
didn't
a
go
peek.
yet.
I did.
Yeah.
We took a peek.
I bought some tickets.
He wants the stage to stay up for his driver introductions.
That would be really cool.
Right.
He wants to
Actually,
be like
but I know.
Daytona.
Pyrotechnics.
What's your,
Johnny
what would your
Conner
song
come
be when you come out on
Oh,
stage?
I don't know. I'm not
No,
sure.
you all
Like
have
a
to answer
virgin?
that question. You
Like,
all
like
have,
a virgin.
winner.
Right.
You all have to
I'm
answer
gonna
that
get punched in
question.
the face for that. You know that, right?
What's your song, Johnny?
Yeah.
Danger Zone.
Ooh, that's where you go.
Kenny
Kenny
Loggins.
Loggins, right?
Yeah.
I heard they're remaking that movie.
There's no, it's a sequel.
Oh, it's a sequel to it.
Yeah, Maverick.
For some
I'm gonna
kids,
guess
it's
for
just a
John.
movie
If I had a
because
guess
the other
for
one
John,
has
it
it.
would probably
You
be
can
Van
answer for
Halen.
John.
It would probably be a
Yeah,
Van
it'd be a
Halen
Van
song.
Halen
I mean, we got the
song,
Van
some
Halen
sort of
Would it be
Speed
jump
Cars,
because
so
you jumped
yeah,
the start?
Yeah, you got
Huh?
Van Halen on
Jump
your
because you
car.
jumped the start?
Yeah, jump. I can do that. I don't know how I get away with it or not. But
Where do
people
you
be
come up
watching.
with some of the schemes for your cars? Your
That
car
is a Van Halen
always
scheme.
sticks out in my. I think
Yeah,
one
that's
year
the-
you
that's
had,
the Eddie
Van
Marvel
Halen guitar.
Superheroes or something on there, right?
That's
Well,
the
back when I was
Van Halen.
racing for Jimmy Baum a long time ago,
Okay,
back
yeah,
there,
yeah.
he always had a superhero on. One car I had had a Batman car, and I can't remember. Maybe it was a Superman. No, it was Spider-Man. I had a
Yes,
Spider-Man
yep,
car
yep.
and a Batman car.
Some people like doing that
Yeah.
because
That's
little
cool.
kids like it, and then they
Yeah.
get a
Yeah.
fan.
Yeah.
I know one
So
guy in the
it's
Pure
good.
Sox one year did a whole like car scheme.
Well, who's the...
You know what I find weird?
There's a
when
guy in the
people-
pits the last 2 weeks in Sportsman, Doug told me his name and I forgot, who has How to Train Your Dragon on the side of his car.
Oh, is that Doolin?
Yes,
The 50 car? I don't know. Jamie Doolin or something
I
like
think
that.
so.
I always find it
Yeah.
weird when someone zip ties a stuffed animal inside their
Yeah.
That's
car.
always cool. That's always cool.
But there's always a meaning behind it.
That's
Yeah.
some classic... That's some, like, old school, like...
yeah.
If there's a
Like,
meaning behind
real
that thing, it gets
dirt
real
outlaw
dirty and
shit.
ruined. There's like a little dirty Kermit the Frog hanging out.
Old Taz, an old Taz,
Old Taz,
stuffed
yeah.
Taz or
So
something.
when a truck
there.
driver puts a big old teddy bear in the front of the
So
thing,
my
this
kids
teddy bear
have,
is
have
big.
tied stuff in the car, you know, and then the proverbial monkey on your back. You know, somebody gave me a monkey one time. I hadn't won in a few years, you know. So then you had that on the car. You know what I mean?
Do you guys do the rest of you guys ever keep anything in your car with you, like good luck things or anything like that?
Yeah, my
No?
girls. I have a lot of kids. 3 came with the lease, and then we made 3 more. I have 6 total. But my girls always put in you know, like fake flowers or something.
Yeah.
And my son, you know, he's always gluing something to the dashboard
That's
or whatever. We have a lot of room in ours. I don't know about you
Yeah,
guys, you
we're a
know,
little
but
bit
I don't know if he
but,
still has
there's-
them, but Friesen's got a pair of sneakers, I mean race shoes that he
Yeah.
calls the Game Changers.
Yeah.
And he only pulls them out on special occasions.
Dude, there have
Well,
been
hopefully he's gonna
times.
pull
They're the
out
red and black
Superstitious.
DC.
Yeah, he's gonna
I'm
have to
very
have them out, huh?
superstitious. You know, we'll wash the car. Yeah, even on asphalt, we'll wash the car. If for some reason there's a coin in the seat, a nickel or something, that thing will stay there. You leave that alone. I'll put that in. You know what I mean?
Superstitious.
Yeah, I don't know why. I just. And don't ask me how it got there either. I have no idea.
The way I
Maybe a
race, you
nickel
wouldn't
or
need that
something in the
nickel.
You
seat.
wouldn't need that.
I
wouldn't
think
need
my
that
father
upside
does
down.
it. I think he
Yeah,
comes
full
over-
out, get it down.
I
That's
saw
how
a
I get
penny
it
on the
out.
track one day, and
Yeah,
it was
yeah.
it wasn't heads
Yeah.
up, so I didn't pick it up. But I
keep
was like,
walking.
man, if that was a heads up penny, that'd be a good lucky
Yeah, no,
penny
yeah,
right
I
there.
won't pick up a
Yeah.
penny on tail.
Who do you think lost that penny on the track? A driver?
You fell out.
I think somebody threw it.
It could be one of those nights where I was just wishing
Somebody was trying to huck it at somebody in Victory Lane.
You had him in your spike strips.
I'm just saying.
I'm
Well,
super
Cagle used to do that, right? Didn't he have a bucket of water or something in
Yes,
the car?
he did.
And he would pump
Yes.
it. So years
This is
ago,
the first
I'll tell you
I've ever heard of that.
That is a true story.
Yeah.
Alan Johnson told me that
Yeah.
he was racing against Will, and he got caught with that.
Yeah,
He
he had
had water
a
in
he had
the
a
car.
pump.
Yeah.
And
He
he
should've
was,
went for the
and he's
nitrous.
leading, and the guy, and he would hear the guy get up on him, and he would pump this. He would hand pump
At the
this
track.
bucket of water, and he would wet it, and the guys behind him.
Yep.
So
Get out of
stri-
here.
That is true.
Fucking Spy Hunter
That is a
shit.
true story.
What is that? That's
so
crazy.
years ago, when I started winning races here, I used to take my overflow and run it out through the back, through the trunk. And so the car would start running hot, and guys would get up
Start
on me, and they're
spitting
like, "Man, we don't know what you do. You're like pushing water or something." Like, oh man, let me just look at that. Well, one night Tommy Zaban zooms in. We had one, and Tommy Zaban zooms in, and here's the goddamn antifreeze pouring right out the back of the trunk. And after that, my father, love you, Dad, but we all had to run overflows after that. And I was like, son of a bitch.
So what intro song would you want?
He said it. He's like a
Like a
virgin.
virgin, man.
He's the only one that
You got
answered.
You got two more
Oh,
over here.
it would have to be a Social D song. Any Social D
Okay.
song, yeah.
I like
Dance
a
for it?
virgin better.
Huh?
I like that
Dance
better.
for it?
Dude,
Or-
they don't call me the rooftop
no
shuffler
clue.
for nothing, brother. You know what I mean?
Who gave you that name? Pete?
Andy Crane.
Andy Crane?
It started off the James
Like
Brown
millennials,
shuffle,
you got to
and
answer
then
the
it
question.
just-
There's a lot of people listening. They don't even
Yeah,
know what he's
they don't-
talking
I have
about
no
because
clue.
they're too young.
Something by Justin Bieber.
Yeah,
No.
definitely Doolittle like something like
Some what's his name? Ed Sheeran.
No.
No.
Is it One Direction still around?
No, that's old already.
I don't know.
98
man.
I
degrees.
think.
You
That
still
was
listen to
before your time
K104.
too.
I think we just
Yeah,
named it
yeah.
ourselves, man.
Backstreet Boys. Yeah, that's definitely before your time.
New Kids on the Block. Just saying.
Nothing.
If you get in the car, you turn on your radio. What are you listening to?
Country.
Country? So is there a country song you're listening to? Like Truck,
Take
yeah?
my horse through the ocean.
It's not Old Town Road, no.
No, tell me.
I like to listen to Jason Mraz before I race to just kind of
little weird.
relax. Yeah, it is a little weird.
No, that's I get it. That's
Can you sing it
relaxing.
for us right now?
That's like
Nah, I
my
can't.
parents'
Yeah.
wedding song was like a Jason Mraz. That's
He was
like
pretty good, but
No,
I don't know about an
it
intro.
kind of just helps
Get
me
going.
relax.
Yes, I'm pumping you up.
If I was a race car driver,
Yeah.
I would come out to something Metallica.
What if you were a professional wrestler? Same thing.
I don't know. That's a
Right?
good question. I don't know that. That's a loaded question actually. We'll have to think about that.
I want to see more. Like I'm not a big professional
Two-
wrestling
two-
fan, but I want to see
yeah.
more of that shit in racing. I
Like-
want to see
like-
In
like
Canada, they do a
Coming
very good job
out.
at it.
we could cut some promos and
Canada, they do a good job with
Listen,
it.
if you go on my Facebook page, there's a picture on there, and I look like a fat Power Ranger throwing a steering wheel. Yeah, I don't.
It's funny to see some of these drivers get in their suits. They look like
Listen,
a
I'm
slip
not-
Johnny
who was-
sausage.
I don't mind
What
a
was the
racing
video? There was a
accident.
fight on the backstretch one time, right? Where the guy came. Was this you? Where you came running and you tripped before you could even hit the
All right,
guy?
let me tell you the
Is it
story.
you?
Let me tell you this. All right, let me tell you.
You don't
what
gotta tell
happened.
me. I was sitting on the trailer right in front of it.
You're
was
probably the
nobody
jackass that videotaped it, all
No, I wish I
right?
did.
So listen, Andy Bicchetti had gotten into it with somebody.
Yes, this is the one.
And Steve Otten happened to be the.
You went marching out there and you were like, I'm going to
No,
take
I
care of
didn't
this, and
march,
I'm going to
man,
take care of
I
this, and I'm on my face.
So Steve Otten happened to be the pit steward at the time, and I guess he surprised Andy, and I know Andy. Andy's a good dude. I know his dad, and well, Steve grabbed Andy. Andy turns around, knocks Steve on his ass. Well, here's the safety crew guys at the time. Nobody's getting
Strike
out of the
one.
car. And me, dude, that's my friend. So, and I have no issue with, dude, you want to throw knuckles? Not a
my
problem.
brother.
Let's do it. So I went running out, and I have one of those legs that I've had a couple surgeries.
So you had to
on.
go across that plank that the
And I made that.
across.
I made that.
across the moat.
Well, I go to grab Andy, and when I did, my leg just went, nope, you ain't doing it, and down I go.
Did you have a nice trip?
And it just went on from there. And thank God I have a good sense of humor, because everybody was like, well, what the hell happened?
crowd was cheering.
I saw a quarter and went to die for it, dude. You know? A name like Joel, you don't leave the quarter laying on the track. You know what I'm saying?
You saw
And,
Steve drop it?
Dude, I don't know. And actually, believe it or not, Andy Bicchetti's father picked up my cell phone, and I lost it. I never got my cell phone back because of that whole incident. But man,
Probably in the
boy,
moat.
did I take
Probably
a
threw it in the moat.
Did I take a ribbon for that one?
It would have been better if you fell in the moat.
It just would have been better if I just laid on the ground and just didn't get up. Like, oh my
if
God,
fate
look,
was
he
on your
kicked his
side,
own
you would have
ass.
fallen in
Hacked me
that
into
water
the
before you
track.
could even get there.
Listen, you ask Mike Gerda. Mike has kept me out of jail quite a bit. And I listen. I don't mind a racing accident, but when you continuously wreck me, I have a problem with that. A lot of what we do comes out of my pocket, and it's. John can tell you, man. You work 60, 70 hours a week, and then it's another 5-10 hours a night in the shop. And when guys are driving through your shit, I don't have the patience for it. My kids are very well behaved. Their rooms are clean because when I start to get loud, they go, "Oh shit." Listen, 6 years in the military, I never got that mindset out. I figure if you're loud, people listen. And
Squeaky
I've
wheel
never
always gets the
once
grease.
thrown a punch down here. Everybody thinks, "Oh my God, there goes Murns kid again, fighting again." No, I really haven't.
Your
I've had
career's
my
not
ass
over.
whipped down here more than John Beldy whipped my ass one night. Big guy threw me off my car, and I went, "Oh my God!" and I still talk to John to this day. Great guy, absolutely great guy. But I have no patience for it.
You ever walk up to a driver's car that you didn't know him really, and all of a sudden he got out, and you're like, "Oh, just saying good job. Wasn't coming here to fight. It's too big."
No, not at all. I have walked up to guys, shook their hand, and went, "Man, I totally meant to do that. Have a good night," and walked away. And then they don't know what to do because I don't have the patience for it, you know. And listen, I know it's not. I think what's humbled me now is my kids. You know, I don't want my kids seeing me acting like a jackass and this and that. And again, Mike Gerda, thank you so much. That man has kept me out of jail many, 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 many times. But I don't have the patience for it. And do I think you're going to see that this weekend? Yep.
Yeah.
I think you're going to see some tempers.
Yeah, you see some sparks.
Absolutely.
We see tempers every week.
Yeah.
Whether or not anybody knows
think
about
so.
it, I think it happens every week, right?
Yeah, I see a lot of it.
I
I
mean,
it's
but
just
it's
because
all part
everyone's
of it.
so.
It's the nature of the sport that
Yeah.
we're doing.
You guys are
You know.
competitive souls.
Yeah.
It's
Listen,
gonna happen, you know.
I try really. I have a very short fuse, and I try really hard to just let it roll. But when it's week after week after week, and it's
Well,
the
it
same
becomes
guy,
a
Especially
it's
when
the
you're
same
coming,
guy.
Like somebody
coming
doesn't
from a
give shit about
70,
you.
100 mile an hour to 0 inside of a car, it gets
That
you
shit
really
hurts.
mad.
It hurts. It hurts. That hurts. Even with full containment.
Even if it's
seats
not
and
anyone
arms
else's
and-
fault, you're
it
mad at
hurts.
someone.
Yeah, it's like when you like if your cat scratches you accidentally, and your first instinct is to backhand that motherfucker, but you're like, wait,
What'd
nope.
you say? Pistol whip?
Don't say that. Here we go. Don't say that.
Nope.
Jake, tell me about this truck race deal. What's going on with this
Oh,
thing? You know, I'm kind of confused
Well,
because I don't really follow the truck series too much. I mean, I
Okay.
watch a little bit of it.
so Sheldon Creed,
Yep.
truck guy. And
Finished
you know,
second at Eldera.
I know you know Stuart
Yeah,
Friesen.
they're
Of course I
teammates.
know.
They're teammates from GMS.
Are they?
Kind of.
I
Stuart
don't know.
Friesen's not on GMS, technically, right?
Just
Stuart
an affiliate.
Stuart Friesen drives and
I don't
uses
watch
GMS
that stuff
equipment.
more. I concentrate on the
Yeah.
this stuff.
But so the two of them finished 1-2 at Eldora,
Yep, on the dirt.
and we're bringing them here in their trucks as they finish that race. Stu actually just posted a picture today
Yeah.
of his truck in the garage. Still got the Eldora dirt on it.
They
So we're
bring
gonna
the
get
big
some
rig too?
We're gonna get some cross contamination, unfortunately. I think.
They looked about
Um,
the same though. The tracks
Yeah,
looked
they
about the
do,
same.
and that's so. You know, I actually asked Stu about this, and because we had him for last week's podcast, and I kind of, I said, looking at Eldora on TV, looking at our track here, they both seem to have that kind of slick, shiny surface going on. Do you think? I asked him if he thought there would be similarities and what kind of speeds he expected to see with the trucks. He gave a vague answer, but I think I think we're going to see some.
Is there a prize involved, or it's just
No, it's an
Just an
exhibition.
exhibition.
exhibition match?
Yep,
Yeah.
just an exhibition.
Like a cage fight.
Is that something you think we're going to see here in the future? Some sort of NASCAR affiliated sanctioned race here?
I mean,
Because the rumor is that, Orange County's starting to lead towards more like a rolling wheels. You're going to see a lot of special shows. You're not going to see a whole lot of weekly racing too much.
the
anymore.
market will
Man, I
dictate
hope
what we
not.
become. I mean, this is.
I think it's hard too to get everyone here every week for how many weeks.
Yeah.
Like it is nice.
I'm gonna say
The
I
small
like the
block-
schedule here.
The small block schedule is nice to me. I
Well,
like
Orange
that.
Orange County. I know that we try very hard to make an accommodating schedule, right? We give our competitors
a great
holidays
job.
off. Other tracks like to put stuff on the holiday weekends anyway, so it works out great. We don't compete with the other tracks, and our local guys who don't travel,
Did any tracks-
get to enjoy a holiday
Are
weekend
any
off.
tracks running up against Orange County this weekend?
No.
Not in a
Acwor's
serious
closed.
way. No, I
Acwor's-
think there's a. I think
I know
Valley's
the
running.
Valley's
The
open,
Valley
but I don't know if
has-
it's
it's a non-points race.
race.
Yeah.
I think there's a couple other tracks that are running.
Yeah, Acwor's closed. Bethel is closed.
Oh, the
Bethel's
Valley
got
would've put a
Bethel
big
Woods
sportsman
going
race on.
and all that crap
What's
up
that?
there.
If I was the Valley, I would have put a big sportsman race.
Yeah,
on.
there's a lot of sportsmen who want
Yeah,
to be at
nowhere
this
to
race
go.
this weekend, and
Yeah, there's
I agree with Orange County not opening it up to everybody.
Well, that becomes a logistic thing too, because you know how many sportsman cars can potentially come here.
Exactly.
What
They
did
get
we almost
100
hit?
for
We almost hit
Eastern
100 at
States.
Eastern States, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah,
And they were
logistics
putting them guys out.
Right,
there
and
driving.
we had
Yeah.
overflow problems big time.
At some of the tracks I've been going to this past 2 years, the parking section for some of the classes are pretty far away. You'd be surprised. Like if they were to find a spot here for other classes if the pits got too full, it wouldn't be something out
We
of
went to Albany
ordinary.
Saratoga a few years ago, and when we were on line getting ready to go out, we actually put the tire, jack, all that stuff on the car. And just before we went out, the guys would take them off because we were so far.
At Volusia, they stick the modifieds down by the alligator pond.
Yeah.
Same thing in Charlotte.
Backwoods.
Yeah.
That's what we do when we go to Accord. We put it on the truck,
Yeah.
the back of the car, because we park all the way up on
Drive
top of the
down,
hill.
yeah.
Drive it down, take it off, and then just pick it up on
No,
the
it
back
should be
road.
good here because every night it should be pretty clear across the front stretch, I think, the way they're going to have it. I mean, because you're going to have, because when the dirt race got rained out, everybody was there. Those cars will be back and potentially maybe a little more. I mean, I think there was like 40-some cars signed in. So even if you throw another 20 cars in the mix, right?
You'll almost feel like in warm eastern states.
A very warm Eastern
Yeah,
States,
right?
Yeah.
So you throw 40 or what is there going to be 40 sportsmen?
Yep.
So you throw 40,
40, a
45,
little more than 40,
48,
right? 'Cause
50, whatever.
We're doing our top 40 plus,
Okay. Maybe 10.
special
So
guests and
that's not bad.
10,
And vote for
15
me to
years
get in.
ago, though, Eastern States used to be invitational only, except for small block and modified, I believe street stocks, pro stocks, sportsman, I think was invitational only. I believe it
I
was.
remember they used to call it that, the Invitational.
Yeah,
That's
because I remember
probably
getting
what
a
it was.
letter saying that that I was eligible to come.
Yeah.
But back then,
500
car
other
counts
people
were
got that letter.
Probably even
What's
higher.
that?
500 other people got that letter.
No, I think that's a great idea. I mean,
That's 2
it's-
cups of coffee, by the way.
that you can drag the night out super long, and not saying that anybody, whatever, but everybody should have their shot. But
Yeah.
that's good, and it's good that they, you got the sportsmen going, and then the 358s. I think there's going to be a pretty stout field of 358s here too.
Yeah.
Who's got that race?
I don't know.
There's a lot of
I don't
good
know.
ones, but I think
Brian
Billy Dunn
Cole.
looked really impressive the other night again too.
You
It's gonna be
got
hard to beat
just
Parego
modified or
or
just
Crummel's
Just
been good.
running
Hearn.
yeah. But
Goulart.
Parego's really fast in the 350.
Yeah.
He's big, fast in big block too, but
Yeah.
that small
Small
block
block
is
set up.
You think he's cheating?
No, I don't.
I think you're all cheating.
I just
I think he's just got it set up.
I really don't. I think he's,
He's
a good. I
super
think he's a
talented.
good. I think he's a good
Yes.
driver,
Yeah.
and he's got his shit together.
Yeah.
They have their.
He has
they,
a,
they
he
have
has
it
like
figured out,
he
and-
has the mindset. Like he has got like
This is his job. I mean,
Yeah.
right? This is his job.
Yeah, that's what
He
it is.
drives.
Basically, yes.
He's a driver.
Yeah.
Your mind changed a little bit when you have to feed yourself with that money.
Yeah.
Well, that's yeah.
Now, see, here's my thing right now. Coming here as a fan to watch the race, I can't tell the difference between a Bicknell, a TO, a PMC chat. I don't know the difference.
I think the rear
What's
decks.
hard.
I think
what
the
is-
The
what's
rear.
easiest way to
difference
tell them
between
apart
any
is the
of
bumpers.
the front bumpers. Yeah.
Yeah.
The TOs have those pill-shaped bumpers. The other ones have the more cattle catcher styles.
DCAM looks like
It's
they're
ezy to tell a TO.
So
The
how
others
about
get kind of
We'll put that in in the the next hard clay or whatever to show a picture of the different bumper, and then people can tell what the hell kind of car it is.
That's
what
true.
I mean?
Most
There are
most
times,
drivers display it.
there are times like when we were racing here, and obviously say, okay, our heat races after the third sportsman, and you look out on the track, I couldn't
Yeah.
tell who the hell it was.
A
I'd
lot
have
of
to
a
know
lot
who
of
the
guys
guy
will
was
have the
in order to be
manufacturer somewhere on
We
the
do.
car
We
too.
put ours on there.
But
Now,
That-
you
that
guys
makes
gonna be
it
allowed
easy.
to run wings this weekend?
No.
The
No.
sail panels. Is
No,
there?
that's
you think,
short
there-
track
rules.
rules.
you think there's an advantage to having those here in Middletown?
Yeah, I mean there is for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, but
haven't had any cars with the new surface yet. We haven't had a sail panel race.
No, that's right.
So I wonder that'll be
that'll be
be interesting in
States
October.
If
race.
you guys are not going
hard
as-
clay finale. We'll
you guys
find
aren't
out.
going as far into the turn now. You're lifting way earlier, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
I mean, the
I
when the
have-
World of
I have-
Outlaw sprint, All-Star sprint cars were here. They were lifting at the flag stand getting in, and they're usually flat around the whole place.
Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
flat away around the whole place. Yeah.
So I don't know
They
how
did
much
put on a
this-
good show, didn't they? Boy,
Yeah.
they really
I
did.
think the sail
They
panels
were
how
only
much
a foot or
effect
two
would
off the
have.
wall.
Yeah.
Boniface has got it figured out around the wall too, huh?
So are you a fan of the sail panel for here in Middletown?
No,
Why is that?
I just think it makes the car tighter, and I don't really.
I think
like
they're playing
it.
too much. Everyone's playing too many games with them too.
Yeah.
The bodies are getting.
No,
carried
And
away.
some of them are great, have greats
No,
cut
Fre-
in.
I was gonna
and
say, like,
everything.
some of them are like
Fraser,
louvered
I
or
saw
graded
was
or
like
whatever.
a-
What does that
they're-
do?
They're supposed to be
Great or something.
identical to each other. You know what I mean? Okay, so
Right.
they're identical in shape, but people are doing things to them, and it's not.
And then
I like the
Hearn had a
innovation.
Batman.
Yeah, I like the
Yeah,
innovation.
Hearns were a little more
Yeah, yeah,
pointy,
yeah,
right?
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Right.
The innovation's cool to see, but now it's just getting too carried away with.
Well, it turns
how-
into an outlaw situation where you got anything goes again.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, the
But a
suspensions.
lot of people like that about racing. I mean, a lot of people's complaints about like NASCAR and stuff is that it's like cookie cutter bodies.
They're like really
know,
cookie
rules are
cutter,
too
though.
tight,
They're
like-
lasering bodies.
Yeah.
The suspensions on the cars are really starting to change now. Obviously, you got coil cars, you got left side panhard coil cars, left side panhard cars on torsion.
Yeah.
You got all
Yeah,
kinds of stuff going on.
J-bars.
J bars. I mean, you name it.
Those-
Then you got your conventional torsion. People are still running on the right side.
those Panhard bars,
Panhard bars,
and right to left side has become like an adjustment in the pits rather than something you come
Now-
in and keep.
Yeah.
Yes, yeah.
Now, what do you think is going to be the secret to the success this weekend? Like earlier this year, when I came here the first couple of weeks, and man, I'd watch you come through the pack, and you'd get up to about 4th or 5th, and then I think you
That's about
broke
it.
once. Yeah, I
Yeah,
think so.
broke
You know what I mean?
twice.
Like, what do you think is going to be
I know
the,
about
the,
that.
I was
Of course, man, you're right in the chest.
In the beginning of the year, I was running a torsion car, standard torsion car, but I changed like about probably 3 weeks ago or so with the new car. We changed it, so I'm on short rods, coil, left side Panhard rod, and I believe that to me, I think that's gonna whoever's gonna win this race is gonna be on something similar to that,
Right.
because the racetrack is very smooth.
Mm-hmm.
And the short arms that gets the rear to really react. I'm getting a lot of rear steer out of my car with the short arms. It's very
Right.
similar to like a 4-link, sort of
Yeah,
a
yeah.
4-link version. So I think whoever's going to win is definitely going to be on coils and a version of that. That's all I.
What about tires?
I don't even listen.
Is there a tire rule this weekend?
Yeah, I wish that
And
they
what's the
would've-
compound? Soft.
It's a
300
300 on the left,
Okay.
400.
300 on the right front, 300 on the up
Now
in
that's
the
a
front
soft
as well.
compound.
Yes.
So
Yep.
tire.
But you still have to run a 400 on
Yeah, you
the
got
right
to run
rear.
1/400.
Now, I can tell you right now, I have not even got into my 300, like wear on my 300 on my left rear.
Yeah,
Really?
what tire
So-
wear is
That's
almost
okay.
Tire
Zero.
wear is nothing.
Yeah, zero.
So,
But I think with the amount of cars we're going to get over the weekend, again, it's going to turn like Eastern States
I
tracks
think
to
it'll
pick up a lot
rubber
of
You
rubber.
get rubber up
So
big
rubber
time,
up.
yeah.
Be like asphalt.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I don't know.
Nobody's
Yeah,
gonna-
we'll see.
I think it's going to seal over, and I think it will turn black, but I don't know if it's going to take rubber. It
Be like
just
Utica
may
Rome.
not take rubber. I could be wrong, but nobody's really raced on that amount of racing yet, so
Yeah.
we're going
Right.
to find out.
I can tell from a street stock point of view, come like Sunday Eastern States, man, I absolutely love it. It's like asphalt.
When it's rubber,
You
yeah,
drive it in, drive
Rubber
it
down,
off.
yeah,
Don't
rubber's
slide
down.
the car, drive it in, drive it off.
that's when the guys with the big
It is
motors come out.
absolutely
Right.
awesome.
Then you can really hook that horsepower up, and you're.
I
really
ran a
ripping.
crate
That's
motor and that
scary
thing's like having
fast,
trash
you know?
control.
Well, yeah. So
It's
we got to
fun.
tell the two stories that you
Yeah.
said about John was coming from the back a couple
Yeah.
times this year. A lot of times actually, we have that engine and there was stuff out there he was grabbing a hold of. Now
Right.
we're on the now now you're doing the opposite
Now
thing.
I'm sort of playing catch up because I'm actually going to try to pull some out. I'm going to do what I can because I can't drive a 900 horsepower.
How
big
many
block
laps
on
is the
that
sportsman
stuff.
feature?
25.
Oh, so it's
It's
a
like
regular
Saturday night
Saturday
race.
night. Yeah.
5 more laps.
So
Yeah, a
nothing
little bit
different
more.
for you guys, right?
No.
Same tires.
Yeah, same tire rule as them.
It'd be nice if they open the gear rule up a little for us.
To go
Now, what is
higher?
it? It's a 486
Well,
ring
it's
and pinion. That's just the
To
style.
go higher is
right?
only good for
Yeah, that's
crate
just the
engines
ring
that are
and
illegal.
Okay.
But
Because
I mean,
every
I'll-
time I was at my fastest, I lowered the gear, which you're allowed to do.
Yeah.
Because then you get rolling and you're much better.
You're never really
Yeah.
fast, but man, did you get some height a couple times?
I did.
Especially turn one. It's like,
I can tell you never
that's,
watched
that's
me.
at least 12 foot. That's 12 foot right there. So,
But I never
gear
tripped on the
roll,
track.
Right? There's a gear roll in Middletown
Yeah.
for sportsmen.
46.
And you guys, and that's all you're allowed to run.
You can go
No, you
below.
Okay.
Below it.
Do you
Can't
think
go
that
above.
would help you guys? At
Yes. Going below
I
that
don't think so.
tremendously. Yes.
all? No?
I don't think so either.
Nah,
Ask Bill
I think
Dillon.
I think going the other way.
listen,
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm going to give you a little bit of knowledge right here. If you pull gear out and you're carrying more speed down into that corner, and that racetrack is as slippery as it is,
Mhm.
okay, you're not going to blow that thing up and calm it down enough. It's not the same Orange County like it used to be.
No,
Okay,
That's true.
not at all. So
But why would you want more?
because
Yeah.
it acts just like a Jake brake. It really
Da, da,
does.
da, 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 da,
Jake-
da.
More gear will act as a Jake brake. You will go down to the corner. You obviously have to have the right combination. But when you get down there and you let the gas off, okay, it's going to tighten you up.
But that's just like.
Think about it. I always say
I know
this.
exactly what you're saying, but when Brian was driving my car, we had a problem with the rear end we built, and it was causing that Jake brake effect and making the car tight.
How long ago was that?
Wasn't this year?
No.
No.
No, exactly. But that's
The
what
track
you
is
want to have right
different.
now.
Yeah, you want that.
Yeah.
You want that. I always put it to
You want
everybody
the
like
car to
this.
get tight.
If you go,
Yeah.
if you're driving a truck, right, and you're going down the hill, and you got a big truck, and you're going down the hill, and it starts to snow, okay? Are you going to put the truck in fourth gear and just rely on the brakes to go down the hill and keep it straight, or are you going to put it in second gear and let the motor hold you back and also use the brakes as well?
Yeah.
How would
Yeah.
what's going to tighten you up? What's going to keep you going straight? Obviously, if you hit ice, it doesn't matter. But I'm talking about slippery
Yes.
condition. That's the best way that I can describe it.
I'm glad you did because I'm
Yeah.
imagining
No,
we
I
have
know what I've done at
listeners right now
racetracks. I
that
know what
are
I've
like,
done at
I
racetracks
like
here.
racing, but I don't know what the hell these guys
Years
are
ago,
talking
you
about.
would always have the mindset.
I
I'm
would,
gonna
I
try
would
to kill
honestly
the motor.
use the family at 12 in front of me.
But-
Sorry
The
about that.
group text has been
Yeah, it's been interesting.
out of my
That's
mind. I don't even know what these guys are talking
But
about.
you know, when you freewheel into the turn and it's slippery like
But
that.
this is the stuff
I think
that
it's good right
people-
now because the racers a lot too are listening to this.
But this is the stuff that people in the stands who've never had a race car, and whether it be, like I said, anywhere from right down from a slingshot right up to a big block modified, this is the stuff that goes through our heads. You know what I mean? This is, and it's not
Here's-
just get in the car and drive. It's
here's
not
one's the
that.
family.
Anthony's
like,
over here like, I
sportsman
just
drivers.
I just hang out.
What do you think if modified drivers that have come down to race with you guys, or say like I did it and everyone got mad at me, Brett Hearn drove my Sportsman and won?
No, I love that.
No, he took my qualifying spot
I-
away. So.
You want to be the best, you got to beat the best.
Yeah,
I know,
exactly.
but still.
It's more equal.
It's like everybody gets mad at Kyle Busch for running in the
Right.
truck series. I mean, how many wins has he
But
taken
a
from
lot.
Friesen?
A lot.
Yeah.
Listen,
But with the
I'm
crate
all for it.
engine and
But you don't
very
hear
similar-
Friesen complain. You don't hear these guys
Nah,
complain.
you gotta
Nah.
be the you gotta beat the best to be the best.
You're on the
guess.
most equal playing ground in a crate sportsman that you can be with a modified driver that you looked up your whole life. You can't beat them.
No, I would love to race against them.
Like
Here's-
just because the
I'm
modified
gonna-
drivers you both
I'll
race
put this out there
lawnmowers
right
doesn't
now.
mean
I'll
to
put
beat
this
you.
out there right now. I would love to see a modified guy try and run every single race Eastern States weekend from street stocks right on up. I'll even give you a car.
I mean, we've talked about trying
Rules
to
don't
trying to
allow
figure
that.
out a way to put like your
It's
top
open
10 big block
competition.
guys in a sportsman car and do like an exhibition, and just to see,
See, we were told years ago that if Brett Hearn wanted to race street stock, sportsman, small block, and modified, and a sprint car, Eastern States, whatever divisions were running Eastern States, he would be allowed to, and the track wouldn't be able to do anything about it because it's the right to work, whatever the right to work act is, because he does this for a living.
Right.
He's a paid driver. I'm paying him to drive my car. You know
But
what
I
I
don't
mean?
think, like I said, I don't think John can't run a sportsman.
If I was running a slingshot
I raced
race
John in the sportsman before.
and I knew, say, even
raced
if
John
John
in
was in it, you know what I mean, or Brett Hearn, Tony Stewart, or whatever, I'm gonna be more into it because holy shit, I just whipped his ass.
Well,
Yeah.
there's
You know
there's
what I
two
mean?
trains of thought. I'm going to bring something up that happened. I do a very limited slingshot schedule, and I'll be completely honest with you. John raced somebody else's slingshot. We were racing together, and there was a few instances on the track, and some people thought it was great that John was racing with these guys. John, whatever. We're not out there to try to win slingshot. Oh, I'm not, but John wasn't either. We were out having fun on a Saturday
It's
night.
fun, but I wanted to win.
And of course you wanted to win.
I wasn't going to crash anybody out to do
We
it.
kind of had the shake and bake thing, I thought that was really cool in my mind, but it really wasn't. I wasn't doing shake or bake. But some people
You were just
thought,
eating.
some people thought it was really cool that John was racing. He's like, oh, this guy races, big block, and he's racing a slingshot. This is cool. And then you had the whole flip side and say, oh, he's out there taking people's money. He's racing against these kids or this or that. He's a professional driver. You got me. I'm a little younger than John, but I'm terrible. But I'm out there racing with him too. So there's two trains of thought on that. I get what you're saying, and I get what everybody's saying, and it's kind of a weird situation.
I'm all for it, and I'll give you a good example. Years ago with us, we had amateur and we had veteran, and
Yeah.
sometimes they would have a special race for us where everybody was together. And I liked it because the veteran guys, I could follow them and I would learn a lot. Guys like Emerson Cargane, Ray Tarantino, Al D'Antonio, all these guys. And I would follow them and I would learn a lot. And then the following week we'd go back amateur veteran and I'd wind up winning. And then, no, I've learned a ton from following that guy. I don't have an issue with it. You know what I mean? And, people in the stands, I'm not going to lie, the night Brett won in your car, I thought it was awesome. I couldn't believe how deep he was running that car into the corner. Every lap I was like, he's going to crash.
I had to
He's
run it
gonna
next
crash.
week. You know how embarrassing that was?
But you know what I mean? I don't have an
to be
issue
the
with it.
best in anything in life, right?
Even
all
in
these other
NASCAR,
things in life, right?
It's all
There aren't classes. There aren't classes in what I do. We're all
Good
we're
YouTube
all,
videos.
We're all in the same. We're all in the same
Listen,
class.
this
and
is
you
one
gotta,
of the things I love about this sport. Our day and age, everybody is, their feelings are hurt. Not everybody, everybody's a winner. Not in racing.
No.
Not in racing. My daughter's 8 years old, and she comes to the track with me every Saturday. And there are nights when a bad night for me is a second, a third, a seventh. That's a bad night. And she'll come over and she'll go, Dad, at least you tried. And that's what I want to instill in her. Because I may leave the track with an envelope with a few bucks in it, but
Yeah.
I didn't get a trophy.
Right.
And nobody's walking over going, hey, congratulations on your win. Not everybody's a winner. And I think that's a big problem with this sport is that,
You lose
and no
way more
offense
than
to
you
you
ever
guys,
win.
but, younger kids, the slingshot kids, the bandolero kids right now, they're coming off the track and they're crying. They're upset.
A little more
because
entitled this generation,
Yeah,
yeah.
you know what I mean? And to me, that's bullshit. You know what I mean? Listen, you need to earn your stripes like NASCAR. Just because your dad's got a big paycheck, now you're going to go run NASCAR. No, I think you need to earn your way in. You really do.
I think
You need to
Stuart
race
Friesen
your
actually
way
did
in.
it
That
the
was
way
the
you
case.
should do it.
Half the
Yeah.
NASCAR field wouldn't be there.
Wow.
But you're right. There aren't enough Stuart Friesens in that.
There
I think
really
you
is.
should be
Think about,
making
like,
a
you
name
know,
for yourself
Yep.
in grassroots racing. Now
Yeah.
it's artificial turf.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's like Danny's. Your introduction to this was just through your friend, right?
Yeah,
And just
through
being
Matt.
here, right? So it's like you're like the perfect kind of, driver fan. We want people like this in the sport, right? It's like it's great that there's all these legacies, and it's great that passed down to son and daughter, and so on. But like new blood's got to come from somewhere, right?
Yeah.
And it's like
Yeah.
it comes from just pulling in your friends and getting
I mean,
getting more people involved in the sport. And
Like my father was saying, he said, listen, when you were a kid, it was the, I guess, like the car games were racing, and now their kids are racing, and now their kids' are racing, and
Yeah.
that's what's, you got Chris Schultz, and now you got Matt Schultz coming in. You know what I mean? We
The
definitely
Cody
need more. We
the
need more of you.
Higbees.
Yeah, look at
Yeah.
Cody Higby just got his first win
Yeah.
last week. And,
Yeah.
At Akron.
I didn't even know he was really racing. Then all of a sudden I saw
Yeah.
it.
Yeah.
That kid went from a couple of weeks of, he's trying,
Yeah.
good for you, to holy shit, where did he come from?
What I like about
Fast.
Cody is how much he knows around the car.
Exactly.
And
Oh,
how
yeah.
smart he
That's
is.
for sure.
And he's gonna.
And again,
be
the
very
years of
talented.
talking his dad through Syracuse and through, you know what I mean?
But you watch those
Just-
two. They're sitting there's sometimes I see him sitting in the trailer and talking about the car, and it's pretty impressive how young he was and what he understood already.
Yeah.
And he's way mature for his age. It's
But
pretty incredible to watch him.
even so, I mean, a guy like Danny just
Yeah, you just got to win.
won
right?
his
Yeah,
sport,
yeah.
just
Here.
won a sports
Yeah.
feature, So it's like as much experience as you can come into it, you can still be somebody to come in,
But
be
even
brought
even
into the
as an
sport
announcer
and-
too, I knew he had a win at Orange County, and then he's even got a win up at Accor too. You
Yeah.
know what I mean? And as an announcer, you can play on that.
Mhm.
And that's the stuff that's awesome. So you get Cody Higby right now. He's going to school and he's talking to his friends about oh yeah, my dad's got race now. He's bringing a friend in. You need more of that.
Yep.
And now it's just well, I'm second generation driver. I'm third generation driver. Dude, you're the guy. You're the one that's got to keep that torch going. And that's.
Well, this place is getting a big breath of fresh air put
Yeah.
into it as well.
Yeah. Yep.
So it's really revitalized.
Yeah.
It's gonna, start.
I couldn't believe
create a
how
lot of
many
interest.
people that that I would live around or would talk to had no idea this place was here until the past couple years. And they went, "What's this place?"
I was at
that
Home
we're talking
Depot
about?"
one night before I came here getting something, and the cars, you could hear them shaking the roof
Yeah.
into place, and I actually said, "You hear those cars going to the races?" And he goes, "Is that what that noise is?"
Yeah.
You must hear it every Saturday night.
Yep.
I mean, times
We went-
got a little tough. There was very little marketing and promotion around the racing for a couple of years.
Well,
There
the
was
economy kind of dropped
Yeah.
out a little bit, and it was tough getting sponsors.
Yeah, the
and,
timing of everything was
Yeah.
tough.
Saturday night looked pretty crowded. I could definitely.
bad.
Yeah,
say.
we're trending up. I mean, it just gets better and better, really, as far as I can tell.
You
we're-
think obviously the biggest attendance ever this weekend? Do you think this will beat an Eastern States attendance?
Yeah,
Ever?
If I had records from 1962, maybe I could make a guess, but man, I don't know.
Well, you
I
look
mean,
at
I
those
really don't
pictures,
know.
right? You
Yeah,
see
I,
them.
I remember going and driving with my parents when I was a kid, man, and during Eastern States, and you literally,
Yeah.
I mean, we were almost on the fence, like you were in the first row where nobody
Right.
even was allowed to be,
And it's hard to-
it was packed all the way down.
hard to
all the way
verify
down.
old
I'm
photos and
42,
stuff,
and
but
I
you
can
see
remember
those
the
pictures.
weekends where if you weren't here
Slammed.
by 12, 1 o'clock, you were standing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah,
What's
and
cool to see is
I've
our
seen the
easy-
place like that in the last couple of years. On your eve of destructions, on your on a sunny, beautiful, what was it, 2017 Eastern
Oh,
States,
Eastern
when it
States
was
was
like
gorgeous, like
60 degrees all
Yeah, it was
weekend. I
beautiful.
mean, it was like insane here.
Yeah, but even last Eastern States though wasn't that bad.
No,
man.
it is.
still-
It was a little bit
it-
colder,
it-
but it was
it
still
felt like
cold on
Syracuse.
Sunday.
You
Yeah.
pulled that onto the track, it was like, oh shit.
And Eastern
you know what I
States
mean?
is
It was
getting,
cool.
it's starting even earlier in the week now.
Yeah,
It's getting
yeah.
it's edging
Yeah.
out to a full week.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'm excited to see what's gonna. I'm excited to see how busy this place could be, and
Yeah.
I'm excited because now you get new first turn bleachers, the
Fourth turn.
the new fourth turn bleachers. I'd love to see people over there. The
Yeah, I
bleacher
think you will.
creatures.
I think you
The
will.
bleacher creatures.
Yeah, the bleacher creatures.
Where was
Don't feed
your
the
spot?
animals.
Where was everybody's spot growing up when they were?
I was
just
in the fourth
watching?
turn
Yeah,
most of the
fourth
time.
turn. You're
I
a fourth
was.
turn
half
guy?
covered, 3/4 of the way out.
Yep.
Yeah,
Half
full-
cover.
If whenever
Yeah.
the
I was in the
drive-
pits
drive-in.
with my father, and I was told not to leave the car. I think I was not old enough to be in there, and
So you had to
He
hide.
was an official.
Howie,
so it was,
Howie Finch has a story like that with his dad
Yeah.
because he wasn't allowed in the pits. And
Yeah.
they put him in the trailer and they said he hid in a tire or hid in a cabinet or
Yeah.
something to come in with
Yeah.
his dad, who was
So-
one of my favorite people to watch. As a
Oh,
kid
yeah, the
because his
25
car was
punches that oil
bright
car,
and-
man.
so where the
Yeah.
pit tower was, there used to actually be a deck where the compound is, for for
Tech?
cars.
Tech.
Yeah, tech. Thank you. Well, there used to be a big giant deck there. And I can remember as a kid, I was allowed to go on the deck to watch the races. But then if I had to, and I couldn't go any farther from the car. So I was always, or I'd hang out up in the pit tower with Bob Deeney and his brother Dick Deeney. And
What I
all
thought
them,
was
yeah.
crazy, listening to the the videos, they said women were
one-
allowed
yeah.
in the pits.
No one
right?
here is old enough to remember that.
I don't know if I remember.
Yeah.
I mean, I was here in the 80s, but I
Right.
mean,
No, I think that
Listen,
ended in the
according
late
to my
60s,
wife, they
right?
should
That's
still
way
not be allowed in the pit.
Well, it
I'm
ended
not
with
getting involved
Beverly
in that
Pierce. When
conversation.
Beverly
man.
Pierce was here.
Well, now
is
you
when
can't even
that
beg him
went
to come in.
out, right?
yeah, that was. I didn't realize that or even know that. That's pretty. It was like a man's thing only. That's it. That's all you could be. I didn't know that. And I
Yeah.
learned little history.
How about Allison Ricky? Any thoughts on that for her this weekend? Right? Because I'm assuming she's probably going to be the only female in the.
Yeah, she's a
the
top
field?
10 contender
possibly
right now in
Jess.
points.
Jess,
Well,
no.
Jess
Is that
Friesen will be in big
Yeah,
bucks. Yep.
I'm
Okay.
She was here for Eastern State, so
No, she's
possibly
in.
she
She'll be
is.
here. Yep.
She'll be here.
She should be here all 3 days too. She'll be kind of, doing a little research for Stu because he's gonna miss
Thursday,
one
right?
night. Yeah,
Yeah.
he's gonna miss the one night for Bristol, right there in Bristol.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Thursday.
So she's gonna race all 3 nights, I believe.
Okay.
Yeah.
Should I be
She's-
registering? Should I be registering our cars? Are they supposed to be registered? I don't really know.
Yeah,
I'm
right.
thinking of-
She's
Show
actually
up
the
and drive.
the
Did you get her
best-
invite?
She has
Yeah.
the best
Maybe we'll
finish
get
of
to next
any
week, see you
woman
then.
in an Eastern States. Well, actually, she's the only woman to qualify for the Eastern States 200.
Yeah.
And she finished 12th last year.
Yeah.
Very, so that's
The year that I
Making
won
history
Syracuse,
right
the year
there.
I won Syracuse, she was on the outside of the front row.
She was running. She ran a sportsman.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I
she's-
think she was
She had
run
the
for her
pole and then
father.
on-
And let me tell you, I
She
was
started on the
watching.
outside, yeah.
My eyes were
She
glued
won
to
at Fonda,
her.
I think. Right? Did she win at Fonda?
Did she get a win this year or not? I don't know.
I think
I think she's
won their
been
sprint
close.
Okay.
Yeah, she's had top 5s. This
Yeah, I
season,
know she was leading the short track Super Series race and she blew a motor.
And then that same moment, Stu
Stu
blew the
got
tire.
yeah,
both went out.
Yeah.
But
Is
let
that
me
the
tell
one-
you,
is that the one
she put on a
Stu came
show.
back
She
though,
put on a
right?
show at
Fonda,
Eastern
yeah,
States. I was like, my eyes were glued to her.
But same
Even
thing with
before the new track, she was one of the. I was impressed. She was one of the ones that was going high on the old track last
Yeah.
year. And I was like, oh shit.
You asked-
She's
So
not
that
even
should
here
probably
every
be the
week.
only female competitor in the big blocks, probably, right?
I'd imagine,
except for John.
And you had to sign
Like
a waiver
Virgin.
to get into the pits.
The
Yeah.
French
Yeah.
Canadian racer.
We're going to have to make an
driver.
See
exception
what I
for you.
started?
Yeah. And then Allison probably. Nobody in the sportsman, right? No woman in the sportsman division.
None that made it in the cutoff with the top 40 here.
There's not a woman that races here. There's not a girl who races here.
Aaron
on the
Paulus.
was a racer,
Winter
right?
Mead was here at least.
Every once in a
Winter
while,
Mead's early in the
every
season,
once in a
right?
while she'll show up.
Was she here this year?
She was
She
here
ran the
opening
only
night.
the first 3 weeks, I think.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Interesting. Yeah. So nothing there. So.
Would we beat her car up too much?
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know.
I
what happened
think
with that one.
she's
She's pretty
stepped
good at
away
racing
from that
dirt
ride,
bikes.
Did
Yeah,
she?
she races
I think she's
motocross.
stepped
Yeah.
away,
Yeah. She's pretty good at it.
Yeah, she's
Yeah,
in
her and her
motocross
boyfriend,
now.
I think.
Yep.
Hey, motocross is pretty awesome too.
I've still never, Mike Erd always says, "Oh, you should come and
You
watch
should.
the motocross race."
It's awesome.
I don't know.
Let me tell you, little kids, the 5-year-olds on it, it's like they run around with these little weed
They're my favorite
whackers.
to watch,
It's
actually.
hilarious. And this is the funniest shit, right? When the little kids on their little weed whacker things, when one wipes out, it's like a rush of fat dads just running out onto the track to make sure the kid's okay. And you see dads tripping over shit and it's funny.
I'll
should
tell
be
you,
videoing
that.
I'll tell you who's a badass to watch is Michael's son, little Michael.
Oh, he's
Yeah.
incredibly
That kid is an
talented.
animal.
He
Absolute
is a
animal.
beast.
I
Yeah.
can't ride a bicycle. Someone asked me to get on a dirt bike the other day, and I said, absolutely not. It was
No,
a 50.
I like
You
four-wheel.
have a cage that attaches to that because I ain't getting on that shit. I'm
Yeah,
just
ride a
saying.
horse.
I've never gotten on a dirt bike and not put it in a tree immediately.
Yeah.
I did mountain biking over at Mountain Creek one time. I hit a tree. That was the end of that mess. I said,
Yeah.
"No, I'm good."
Even if I can get going, right? I'm going. I'm like, yeah, fuck yeah, got it. And then it's just like tree.
You just suck it.
You could hit a couple of these jumps or whatever they call them. That would be pretty cool.
splat.
No, I'd be the guy who got off, laid it down, walked up the hill. I'm like, can you grab that for me? Thank you so much.
But I
There's no motocross
It's too
this weekend,
dangerous.
though, right? Obviously, there's no motocross
I
this
would
weekend.
think so.
No.
There can be too much going on here. We'll be able to do
I
it.
saw like a little. There's a little carnival here this weekend.
Well, we're gonna have a couple of attractions for Centennial Weekend here. We should have
The bearded woman.
what's the word I'm looking for?
The bearded woman?
Yeah, Ferris wheel.
Oh, my
Ferris wheel.
mother-in-law is coming.
Yeah.
Good for her.
Well,
So there's gonna be that's going on.
Yeah,
like,
we'll
a
have a
little
Ferris
carnival.
wheel here. It is the Orange County Fair Speedway
There,
after
so-
all. So we'll have the Ferris
Motar
wheel
from the
and
commercials
another
coming.
ride like a slide or something set up.
Okay, so a couple little games.
Yeah.
Cornhole tournament.
Yep.
Right?
We're gonna do a cornhole tournament. Still figuring out what our big prize is gonna be, but we're gonna do a big prize.
Is that gonna be like during the races?
No, it's
or-
like before. It's during the day.
What about a whole bag of sweet corn?
And they're doing.
Friday and
I was thinking
Saturday.
something like Eastern States tickets or something, but
Mainly Friday, Saturday, not so much Thursday, right? Or
no. The cornhole days are Friday,
Friday,
Saturday.
Saturday.
Yep, and it's during the days for people.
I'm just
camping
pissed
or
off
here
that I
for the
didn't
event.
invent that game. I actually played it in the Jets game this past winter for the first time, and I'm like, this is the stupidest thing I've ever
Somebody
played.
cut a hole in a thing. Yeah.
And I went,
Throw the thing.
But
in
I
the hole.
played for like 2 hours.
Yeah,
Yep.
Yeah, it's
exactly.
fun, but
yeah,
it is really
I mean,
a pretty
it's
stupid game, but it's fun as
goddamn
hell.
it.
You gotta get a little wiffle ball tournament going on.
What?
Yeah,
Yeah,
a little
man.
wiffle-
have the RC.
Yeah,
I saw
We got. Yeah, we got.
play a little wiffle
We have an
ball now.
RC. We have an
You say
RC tournament.
cornhole,
Yeah.
nobody blinks an eye. You say wiffle ball, and like, fag.
No, we should definitely play wiffle ball.
It
Sacks
looked
of
like you
beans
couldn't
is what
pitch.
How about some beach
Oh,
volleyball?
did you see the video?
I
Somebody
seen-
posted
yeah, I
that?
seen a
Should we do some beach
Actually, he
volleyball?
posted it.
You want to set up?
Oh, I struck John
He
out.
actually struck me out.
Struck him
yeah.
out.
I-
You want to do
yeah,
badminton?
he did.
Oh, badminton sounds
Get the
fun.
shuttlecock?
Yeah, that sounds good. A little badminton or maybe some handball. Let's play handball. Let's get a
Actually,
handball.
handball. I love
What
handball.
about racing?
We can do that too. I'm just looking at things to do in between.
I don't know.
I want my family to come
Kind
this
of into
weekend
the
too.
shuttlecock cornhole
My favorite
thing.
sport when I go to the races is people watching.
For
Yeah.
Eastern States, I want to try to organize like some kind of a cook-off, some kind of like a tailgating competition.
Just go to the
Drive
drive-in.
stuff for my dude.
Right.
Just
My
go to the
wife-
drive-in and go, what's your name?
That's the thing.
Yeah.
We're gonna determine who's doing it best.
Every day.
Like,
you
what are
know?
you doing? Like,
gotta
oh, we're
do
doing a
it.
contest.
Whoever
And
does
that's
it
how you eat
biggest.
for free.
I have to taste test
Yeah. All right,
everybody's
well, who
food.
won that? Oh, shit, I don't remember.
That guy over there.
I'm gonna have to go.
Oh,
I'm
he
gonna have
left.
to do
You
another
already
round.
told him
You
there was
already gave him a trophy.
everything, yeah.
I know you got some good band. I mean, I know you got the big show coming tomorrow, but I mean,
Yes. What do we got? Thursday night we've got. His name is Mike Del Judas, right? And so
yeah,
this guy.
I'll be here for that. Well, my wife will be here for that.
This guy
Billy Joel
was
guy, right?
he was a Billy Joel tribute band, and Billy Joel heard him and was like, "Holy shit, this guy's I can't
Serious,
tell the
right?
difference." And so Billy Joel hired him, and he's part of Billy Joel's
Band,
band.
right?
Is it going to be
Right.
like the Catalina wine mixer?
Yeah,
We only do 80s.
he's only gonna do 80. No, I'm gonna insist he only do cheesy Italian Joel songs.
Are you?
it's not-
Why are you looking at me, Jay? Singling me out?
Do you? I mean, as an Italian, do you consider Billy Joel one of your own, or is he just a poser?
I think he's in.
Okay, he's in the club.
Oh,
He's
he's
in the club.
in, man.
He's
All right.
in. I would.
Because he's a little soft. I don't know if
You
like.
think so? I've seen him many times in concert. My wife, huge.
I
Billy
mean,
Joel
I'm not
fan.
saying I don't like Billy Joel, but I think it's a little like.
Listen, I got
Piano
a buddy,
man.
I got a buddy of mine, Tony Garraguso. He talks with his hands all the
Yeah.
time. So Billy Joel's, he's on the piano. So yeah, he's got to be Italian.
He's got to be Italian, right? How could he not be?
I would think so.
You just want him to be
Sings all the
Italian because
Italian
you are.
Yes, of course. You know I'm not
You're
kidding.
recruiting or something.
Yeah,
I don't
of
know, but
course,
Billy
of
Joel's
course.
weird because right, you got that '80s Joel where he's like doo-wop,
Yeah.
right? You got
Yeah.
the '70s Joel
So-
where he's
so
like
me, I would
all
be
New York
considered like a-
Italian,
Yeah,
right?
and then you got even the 90s.
And then you even
Joel.
have right, and then you have '90s Joel always doing like some soul shit, right?
Yeah, it's cool.
Yeah. I
Have you
wonder-
ever been to a concert?
No.
You should go. I'll take
I
you.
don't make enough money, man. But with Billy Joel tickets like 400, 500
See, I always
bucks.
thought he
Yeah,
was
they're
Jewish
special.
with
Yeah.
a name like Joel. So
I think
that's,
he
that's
is.
the
I think he
confusion
is.
with me.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think he's
Joel,
Italian. I think
you're
he's a Jewish
No,
guy.
I'm
No,
Irish.
he's
And
from
then they
Long
go,
Island.
what? You're an Irish Jew?
From Long Island.
He's a Long Island Jew.
He's got.
He's a Long Island
Is there
Jew.
such a thing?
Who thinks he's
I don't
Italian?
know. There's
Yeah,
gotta
he's
be,
definitely
right?
Italian.
Yeah, I'm sure it's
He's
something.
definitely Italian. It's got to
You
be,
say you
right?
wish you were.
And then what about Friday night?
I
What do we got
wish
cooking here Friday
I'm
night?
Jewish.
Friday
Just
night
go
is
with it.
Artemis
I like,
Pyle.
listen, yeah, man, I save money while I'm drunk as shit. I don't know.
But no, Friday night's cool because it's Artemis Pyle. He was in Leonard Skinner
Yep.
in the '70s.
And what did he play
so
up
they
here
got
at
some
31st
good
Live?
Southern rock going on. So I think that's going to be a
Anything
we're
Saturday
definitely a
night?
Southern rock crowd. Nah, Saturday night's like just party. Or
All
if
night.
you,
Is there any special
yeah,
events
if you have any energy left,
Maxwell?
you know.
Yeah,
like
is there any-
Halloween?
Any
Oh hell yeah!
Is it New Year's
Well,
party? Or?
They have New Year's in Eastern States, all
Yeah,
that, but
yeah,
do they have
yeah.
a themed party?
Absolutely.
What is it?
Friday night.
Mardi
or-
Gras?
Sorry, Thursday night. Summer of '69.
Oh, I saw
Summer
that.
of Love theme. We're gonna celebrate, the heyday of
can't
hippie music
wait.
and Woodstock because
I grew up
it's
15
also
minutes
the
away
anniversary of
from the original
Woodstock
Woodstock
this
site.
weekend.
this year,
So,
this weekend.
so we're gonna pay our little tribute to Woodstock. I guess the Billy Joel guy isn't really the best fit.
That's not the best fit for Woodstock.
But regardless, we're gonna theme that party in the 31st lap for the summer '69, and then Friday night it's birthday party. Obviously, 'cause we're 100 years
Oh,
old.
it's a birthday party.
Are you
It's
wearing your
birthday
birthday
bash.
suit there?
Will there be hats? Will there be hats and noisemakers?
Oh yeah, oh yeah, and balloons. We get some balloons, and
Animal balloons or?
after, no, just regular balloons, man.
One of my favorite things to bring friends that didn't go to the races
Oh,
much
here
to
comes the
was
shuttlecock and cornhole question.
the New Year's Eve party. Because they'd be like, the New Year's Eve party. I'm like, yeah, they celebrate the New
Yeah,
Year.
it's the end of the year of
They were
racing.
so confused, but they came, they loved it. And came back every year for the New Year's Eve party.
Yeah, every year for Eastern States we do a
Saturday
Halloween
night.
party, and then we do the New Year's Eve.
Yep.
So this will be the first and last, only ever OCFS 100 years birthday bash
Ever.
Friday night party.
.com.
Yep. Yep.
Yep.
So
It's exciting.
And after the music, after Artemis Pyle, of course, is DJ Eric Santana, who's been here for Eastern States for
That
the
guy's
last couple
pretty good.
years.
He's badass.
He started interviewing people at the big
Crowd
show this year.
favorite.
Did he really?
Crowd favorite.
Kids,
Need a little
red
while.
shirts,
Will you be out there
people.
dancing?
Well,
and doing
they got him
stuff?
up
They
there.
gave him a microphone. He went to town.
Awesome.
Not a big dancer, not a big dancer, but the other problem therein lies that like my girlfriend is not a race attendee, and if I get too wild and start dancing,
Problems.
problems.
Wind up with 6 kids. I got you.
Yeah.
That's a different kind of dancing.
That's a
Oh,
different,
sorry.
that's a different
Oh.
dancing.
Oh, so if my girlfriend
That's
found out
talking
that I
dirty with
danced
the
on
shirt.
races without
That's
her,
horizontal dancing.
I'm dead. I may as well
6
not
kids?
go
I'm
home.
like,
Does she just not like it?
3 came with
Just
the
she
lease.
doesn't like it?
What are you gonna do?
It's a little like too dirty for it's the whole the dirt it's just not her thing. She's not a race fan at all anyway. It's like she wouldn't go to an asphalt track just because it was clean.
Oh, she just doesn't like
Doesn't
it.
really like racing.
Racing,
you know?
yeah.
I think you need to find yourself a new woman.
Yes.
Well,
Nah.
you know.
Watch the way you answer.
Here's the thing.
I was just baiting him there, John. Thanks, man.
when you get to the point where this is all you're like,
Yeah.
do I marry this woman? You start thinking like, man, do we have enough in common? Do we need to?
Nah.
If we did the same things,
Get boring, right? Maybe.
it'd be boring, man. We'd just be together all the time. There'd be nothing to.
I didn't want to ever
I'm
date
telling
anyone
you-
from the racetrack because
Yeah,
I like
I
to
mean,
separate
listen.
myself and go to the racetrack
Listen.
and have my own time.
I looked
Yeah.
out opposites attract. You guys all know my wife. You see her every Saturday when you sign in. Carrie out back. That's my. We are the total opposite. She's organized. She's got planners. The kids are ready to go. Me, I'm like, where the hell did I put my cell phone? I'm telling
When
you.
I was younger, my
just-
mom only came to the race to see how much money my dad spent.
Yeah.
Make
You
sure he
found-
wasn't
so you
spending too
obviously
much.
don't like racing.
What?
Your lady don't like racing.
She doesn't dislike it, but she
She doesn't
got
come here.
about 100 other
No,
things
she
she'd rather
comes. I've
do.
seen her.
Will
Good,
she
but
be
my
here this
son
weekend?
is maybe
2
over the
weekends
next
ago,
couple
right?
days. But my son's like starting to like racing. We came to the fair, and I said, "You want to go on the rides? You want to watch the races?" And we walked in the far corner up here. Did not want to go on one ride and want to watch the races. So I was
Yeah.
impressed by that.
That's awesome.
So I'm hoping when he starts to race, if he wants to when he's older.
Yeah.
I got him a go-kart today, so maybe she'll start watching a little bit more. Like my mom now comes and watches me. My dad stays home.
That's a good idea. That's good.
Dude, it's like my 4-year-old today. We went to McDonald's for lunch or whatever, and they got a TV right there. And he says, "Dad, you think we can get the remote and put on a race?" I'm like, "I love this kid." She just sits there and just goes,
They sponsor a race
yeah.
car.
I'm like, dude, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Why
What
not?
about your little one, Aaron? I mean, I know he's little, but I see him at the races all the time.
Yeah, he comes to Accord every week. Middletown, it's a little expensive to bring him in the pits, but yeah, he's here every week. He helps out in the shop. He helps me get in the car, hands me my radio, my gloves,
Nice.
helmet, all that. So
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Yeah, my daughter's 8. She does tires. She's my tire girl. That
My wife brought the whole tribe this weekend because it was my birthday, and my daughter's 10. She loves it. She's the whole deal there. But the little guy got a little late for him, so it got a little wild. So I was getting nasty looks. So yeah,
Handing out dirty looks to everyone.
Yeah, it was not a good situation, and the final race, the big fact feature was over. She's like, "We're leaving." I said, "We gotta load the car." She's like, "We're leaving." It's like, okay,
Loading
I'll
the
see you at
cars.
home.
Loading the cars is my son's favorite part of coming to the races.
That's
Like he
my
wants to go
least
see them
favorite
going
part.
in.
It's my least favorite part is loading this stuff up.
Oh,
and
that's
then
like,
unloading it
that's
at the shop.
That's a classic race experience to go stand by the pits and watch the haulers come in Well, you know, when open trailers were a thing.
Right.
Still. It's,
Oh, really? That was like a thing?
Oh yeah. You
Yeah.
talk to Doug Dolgarian.
if you
He's
think
got
about it,
like all
the-
these pictures
Of all the cars coming in on the
when
trailers?
they come in on the trailers. Yep. And that was like a thing that kids used to do. They'd line up and wait and watch them all come in.
When an open
Ralph
trailer goes down the
Corrin,
road,
that's
a
what
little kid
Ralph
sees
Corrin
it.
always did. That's what
Right,
he got his
Cor when he
little
If
ordered.
they're in, if they're in,
If it's in a box, it's just a landscape trailer.
That was
That's
Ralph.
fine.
really
Ralph
matter.
would, yeah, I don't know how many pictures I have from Ralph and him when we used to have an open trailer.
Yeah.
And he would just take a picture of your car. And at the time, you're like, this is stupid. But now it's like, man, you know what? Yeah, that's
it's
pretty
pretty cool.
badass.
how about the Higbees with that bus thing? You remember
That's
that?
when I
remember
started
the
coming.
bus.
They had that.
Do you remember that
Yeah,
thing?
and
It was
they
up
set
on a
off.
ramp like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, that was the Higbees, right?
Yeah, it was. They
Bonter
used
was
to-
driving
Yep.
and all that.
Yeah,
guys
they used to work out of it right over in Goshen.
Right in
over
Goshen.
there,
They-
right next to the county building.
They, they came on. They chopped like a bus in half or something.
Yeah,
It's
Really?
going to bring everyone to school.
It was pretty cool. I think they rode in half of it too. Before
Yeah.
your time.
Yeah.
It was like
You
a
might have
little-
seen pictures though.
It was really cool.
It was really cool.
Yeah.
It was that was the thing to
Up
see.
until about 5 months ago, that's what I hauled my car with.
On a
It was
bus?
With a bus. It was
With a bus.
Yeah.
What did you get one of the buses from Sean Core?
I did.
Those are nice.
Yeah, I had that thing for about 5 years, and finally it went.
I would drive that thing all around.
Oh, I
It's
love
great.
it.
Bring your whole crew in there.
Yeah,
That's a- that's
yeah. We
good.
went to Syracuse with that. A couple of guys who couldn't afford hotel rooms and I wasn't paying for slept in it. You know what I mean?
So
But it
it was
had
like
heat,
dual
everything.
purpose.
It was
Why
yeah,
not?
that thing was awesome.
That's a good idea. The haulers. That could be a
And
subject.
then of course my big.
Oh yeah, we
guy
talk about
family.
haulers all the time. That's like a, like who was it that
You know what I hate?
who was it that was talking about had the first? He was like the first guy with the big hauler.
Who was that?
Plastic was one
I
of
can't
them.
remember.
Oh, Joe
Uh,
Plezik from Canada.
Bud Holland used to come with a tractor
Oh,
trailer.
was it Joe Romer
Yeah.
I was talking to?
Joe
saying?
Romer, the 46 budget
he's-
beverage.
He was talking about how he was
And
one
a
of the
tractor
first guys
trailer.
to roll up with the big tractor trailer. Yeah.
Yeah, there was them guys. Hearn didn't have a big hauler in the beginning.
You know,
Think
you
up
know what I
until
find
his
funny is
Budweiser
that
days,
Hearn
he had a
drives
fifth
his
wheel.
hauler. I find that so amusing to me that he drives his
No,
own hauler.
does he?
No,
all the
Hearn
time?
doesn't.
I see him drive it up
No.
through the
No.
biz.
Stu drives his hauler.
Jess drives
Does he?
her
You
hauler.
You don't like anyone else driving it.
Jess has a
Kevin
big hauler
Bates, yeah,
too.
when I get
She
in that.
wheels it herself.
Yep.
That's awesome. John Ferrier, he doesn't drive his hauler.
I can't even get my Camry
I have.
around normal.
You have, but that's not like his thing. I have to drive him to the track.
I think a lot of the like super car series guys they drive
wheel their own
Yeah.
rig. That's cool. I think that's cool. I guess it's tiring.
Yeah.
It's definitely tiring.
But if you have an open trailer, you got to post on Facebook that stackers don't win races.
Stackers do not win
Stackers
races.
don't?
But let me tell you what, when you break a car and you're about 3 hours from home and the race didn't happen yet, you're not pulling another car out of that open trailer.
Dude, that is the
And
truth
that's
too.
where you win races.
Or having an extra bunch of spare tools and
Exactly.
we have a very
And when it
low-key
rains?
race hauler thing. But it works. I mean, it's not the
just
fancy
stacker
one with the
ones.
elevator. We got an elevator, but it's not the fancy one up top. Both cars go up top. We don't have drivers. We kind of have a driver.
When you're bored of the shop, do you go up on it and go up and down like
Yeah,
an
it's
elevator?
like fun for
Nice.
me. It's like a ride. It's like a ride at the fair. So, yeah, this
If you ever want a
exciting.
higher position on the race team, you're always more than welcome to go in there and put yourself on the second floor.
There you go.
No, I'm the sign guy. I hold the sign. It's my job.
For pit stops.
Pit stop. That's my job. I can't really mess that up too bad.
Sure can.
He'll
When
figure
you
it
swing
out.
back, you knock someone over the wall.
No, John usually runs into it when I'm holding it. It's usually never in the right spot. But
See
whatever.
that? So he screws it up.
I try, though.
One Eastern States, he grabbed the wrong guys.
Yeah.
They asked me to do catch can one time, and I was like, absolutely not. I'm not going over the wall because I don't want to mess it up.
Catch
These are
can.
true things.
Climb
These-
over the wall, plug it in.
These
Catch
are
can.
true
How-
things.
How
I
bad
don't
can
want
you
to mess
make?
it up.
I did the fuel for someone one year, and I was paying attention to the jack man, and I got done.
Did you miss it?
I know I nailed it, and then the guy doing the jack did not get the car up. I had to push him out of the way and jack the car up. It was
No,
Tyler Dipple.
both?
Yeah, we went
That's a
lap
slow
down.
pit stop then, my friend.
I don't know what was happening, but he did not nail it.
Wow.
Failed.
Wow.
Wow, that's,
But,
that's crazy. You ever go to the wall, Danny?
Yeah, catch can for Matt.
Catch can.
Yeah.
So I could probably do that.
Like you said, he went over, he had no problem.
Yeah, but he's like experienced.
Make sure you're not
driver,
smoking a
so
cigarette when you do
I don't
it.
Yeah,
smoke,
no.
so I'm good there. No, I've never.
Because some
gotten
of these
over-
guys in the pits I see, I think they have a permanent like cigarette hanging from
Hanging
the
in their
lip.
mouth?
It never gets touched, and the ash never falls off. It just bobbles
It's
around.
plastic.
It just keeps getting longer and
Yeah.
longer and longer.
It's almost like a talent they have to get that thing that long and not break off, and stuck to the lip the whole time.
They even got
That's an
the,
important
they got the
factor.
missing tooth on the bottom so it fits right in there.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
it actually
lines
didn't,
right
they
in.
actually didn't lose it. They had it removed on purpose.
That's like my entire pit crew.
I kind of like too that we're allowed to use radios this weekend, except on Thursday
Yeah.
for the big blocks. So I think that's.
I think you should. I think racing everything you should be able to use radios.
You think weekly?
Yep.
Why?
Why?
Why not?
Well, why? Why?
You might as well put a mirror in the car. That's the way I feel
Yeah.
about it. You know, and it's just.
I feel like some guys do need.
If you have to, if there's a lot of blocking you're worrying about, the
It would
officials
probably
can- the
avoid.
officials
It
can
would
take
probably
off
be
who's
some
blocking.
avoidance. There might be avoidance crashes and stuff like that, or.
Listen, we've been doing it this way for 100 years.
Yeah.
Why change it?
Don't bother. They're right. You get up around 100 laps, then you can't just race.
But how about kids in the sportsman class who can
It's an
get
extra
the proper
cost,
help
man.
when they learn?
That's an idea. There you go.
Danny's not that bad, okay? He's won a couple of races already. You should really just stop breaking.
Or maybe
his
just
balls.
Well, someone's got
one-way.
to tell me when to turn for that wall.
Well, what if you're looking up at the mirror? So how do you? Then you really don't know when to turn.
Listen,
Mirror.
I think anything over 100 laps, absolutely, you should have a radio. This way, if you're a lap car, you need to get the hell out of the way, seriously. Because if not, you know what I mean.
I've been to
you're just-
racetracks though, like when you're
wreaking havoc.
racing, and unfortunately I was the one getting lapped at the moment I learned this. But the guy in the tower tells you you're being lapped. Move.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That don't mean that you move. Half the people don't move anyway.
Yeah.
No,
Anything
I think one of
There's
my
nobody who's
going
going
to
to tell them that he's going to make them move. So what does it matter?
No.
A lap
So-
car, a lap car should stay in his lane,
A
and it's the
lap
guy
car.
lapping him.
It was a Monaco-driven car. Cost Jimmy Horton.
Was that the
win.
silent assassin?
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
It was.
Who's the silent assassin?
There was another. I think there's a Horton 2 in the race car that was driving the other.
Yep. The
So-
Horton cost Horton the
Yeah,
win.
Horton heard a who, and that
Do
ended
you
up
remember
bad.
Mike was running the small block?
What
And
happened?
he got
With
in
the
the
big
way.
blocks, he got in the way. He
Kinda
was
got in
being
the way
lapped.
of
I think it was
Jimmy
like the
Horton.
last
I don't
lap.
think it was purposely.
Maybe we answered the question of why no more small blocks are allowed in the big blocks.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, that's there. There you go. Why should? Yeah, there you go. I
We
mean,
learned ourselves something.
we learned ourselves something. Why a small block shouldn't probably run with a big block. I don't know if I remember. That was a bunch of years ago or something.
No, it's
2 years ago?
Yeah, not that long
But he was
ago.
running the red one.
Yeah.
And he got in the way. Was somebody past Jimmy Horton?
He didn't even
No,
get
I
by.
think-
No,
Jimmy
Jimmy
wrapped.
spun. Jimmy
Yeah.
spun. Yep.
Oh, trying to pass him.
Trying to lap him.
He was
Trying to lap.
trying to stand the lead.
Well,
lap.
we should be careful with that because there was an incident with, and no disagreements, but there was an incident with two big block drivers. And
So you're making
the
it
leader
right because it
crashed,
happened somewhere else?
and the leader crashed, and I don't know whose fault it was, and we weren't leading the race, but it didn't affect. Well, whatever.
You're
You
talking
know?
about Parego and
Yeah.
CJ Morgan?
I don't know what happened, but there's two experienced veteran drivers, and so there you go. So you can't just blame that on anything on me. I didn't
Listen,
cause
when
it.
shit like that happens, man, all I think about is cool. Another spot for me.
Well, yeah, I mean, so there's
You know what I really hate when it happens behind me? Wait, that's not a spot.
Who do you blame in that situation?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, that's. I guess the radio.
The best
part
way to
comes
look at
into
it too is you're driving the car and maybe you could have done it differently or waited or not
I don't
waited
know.
or-
I don't know.
There's a lot of things that can go through your head at one moment.
shoulda,
And
coulda, woulda.
obviously,
when
that
you're
was the wrong
driving a
one.
race car and you know you're
I'm
up
not a
for
driver,
pace,
so I
you
don't
should-
know.
You should at least hold your line.
Especially if you
Stay-
see that flag.
Stay.
Yeah.
If you
Favorite-
maybe didn't see the
or
line,
they-
but you know
My
you're off
favorite
the
line
pace.
is if you see the blue
you know you're just
flag,
turning laps. Stay
there's a
in
race
the same
going on,
groove.
and you're not
You know
in.
what I mean?
Exactly.
So what's the protocol for a driver? Are you supposed to move up or down?
A
No,
driver,
stay your lane.
a lap
Or-
car
or
is
you're
supposed to stay in his
to-
lane.
Or you stay low.
It's,
Or you
it's,
stay
it's
low,
responsibility. No, the guy stays how he's driving. It's responsibility of the guy passing him to decide where he's going to pass him.
Listen,
Some
there have been
tracks
times when
have
I'm up
where-
high and they want me to go down low. If I'm getting lapped, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to stay high. Because if I go down low, I don't know who the hell's there, and now I just took the leaders out. So you got to use your head a little bit.
So is there is an etiquette though? There is
It's like
an etiquette.
defensive driving.
If
Yeah.
you're getting lapped,
exactly.
stay in your lane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Stay in your lane. You can't move around.
Do not do
the
anything
leaders are
sudden.
coming.
Yep.
Don't be like, let me go high because they're probably coming way faster higher.
If you're on the bottom,
Yeah.
stay there. If you're on
Yeah.
top, stay
Stay there. Just stay where you're at.
If you're in the
because they're
middle,
coming.
pick one.
But I've gotten
do
lapped
it quickly.
I've gotten lapped once before, and the guy who lapped me was trying to really like move me out of the way though,
Yeah.
and he got himself a flat tire, and he thought it was
But
my
there
fault.
have also been times when I was the guy doing the lapping, and listen, I gave you a little shot once or twice, nothing crazy. You don't move, I'm moving you. And if the track decides
You
they
have
want
to move him.
yeah, and if
Yeah.
the track
Because
decides
you
they
can't.
want to put me back for that, well then that's when
Danny Johnson has a rule. You get 3
that's when we
laps,
have an
or
issue.
you're
Yeah,
you're done.
yeah.
Is that known? Is that a sportsman thing? Will the sportsman guys tap? I mean, what's the deal?
They smash.
Yeah.
Depends who it
There's no
is.
tapping.
The
Everybody
guy
has
in
a different way to
26
handle
goes,
it.
I can win this bitch on lap 1.
Yep.
Yeah.
That's the struggle of sportsmen.
Yeah.
Okay.
Send it, right?
So here's a
That's-
good one.
that's
So
what
this
happens.
weekend is what? How many laps?
25.
No. I'm talking
for the big one.
For the big one.
160.
160.
Odd number.
So with 160
Weird.
laps, and you can pit whenever the hell you want.
And it's not
Is that-
mandatory.
Is that,
Not
Is that a
mandatory.
good thing or a bad thing? Because the
Shouldn't need
200,
to
right,
pit,
by
right?
a certain lap.
What's that?
Shouldn't need to pit, right?
Not if you're store freezing. That guy's got some fuel
I
mileage
don't
I
figured
don't
out.
know. You know, I mean, I think I would have to pit in
that
my
extra
current,
fuel
my
line.
current combination
For
at
fuel?
the moment. Yeah.
I think we're definitely in the
Tires
I don't
definitely
know.
not.
Tires we won't need
I
to
think
worry about. No.
with all the 100 lap races you see here, that you get towards the end and the cars that are left in the race end up being 12 in the lead lap. And I think we've seen many times over the past 8-9 years the guys go in and pit and come back out and end up passing everyone because they took the chance being in fifth to get another tire that's going to really get the 10
Well,
laps.
but what
you
are
know
you
that's
gonna
the
do?
theory
You
too.
can't
We
now.
watched Stewie do that a couple of years
You
ago
can,
too.
you can do that, but what are you gonna change to?
A new tire. Or maybe your
So
tire has more
change it to a
stagger, or maybe it doesn't.
to a
or-
400. If
That
it starts
won't
to
have
wear,
heat in it.
What are you
It
gonna
won't
do?
have heat and
The
it won't
400 is
go
too
nowhere.
hard for here right now
Well,
anyway.
I
I
know
don't think it's
me,
gonna
I'm
work.
taking 2 laps to come in for a feature to get heat in the tire. So what are you going to do? You're going to lose 2 laps in the modified feature trying to get heat in it.
So it's another game. It's a new game now. You know, not putting a fresh tire is not going to help
Well,
you.
you
I
could
don't think.
also,
I don't
you know,
think so.
I don't think it's gonna wear.
So I think that
I think
this
it's gonna wear as
situation
much.
is where Hearn is going to possibly come into play because man, that guy's got it
Yeah.
figured out.
Mhm.
You know what I mean?
He don't burn his tires up when we were
But
on
I'm just
ours.
saying, for 200, it always seems like he is not on the same cycle that everybody
But-
else is with pitting, and he always winds up.
He always wins the ones that count.
It
I'm
might be
just saying,
Yeah.
right? You know what I
That's
mean?
I'm saying.
It might be harder for him because if you watch him, he like diamonds it, goes through the center, and there's really no center now because it's so slick. You're either right along the bottom or against the wall.
Yeah, but you don't think he's gotten that figured out by now, though?
I don't
You know
know.
what I mean? It's
He's been struggling lately.
yeah.
His struggle would be my greatest moments.
Yeah.
So I don't see him struggling that
Well,
bad.
I
actually.
don't think he's really struggling. I think that you just have somebody.
Yeah.
But this is a long distance race. This is not a
Exactly.
Saturday night
Really
30
has.
lapper.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So again, this comes into play where where the low buck guy takes a gamble and decides, you know what, we're not coming in, but no caution flag laps count, right?
Caution
They
lap
do.
flag. The last 30 got to be green or 25.
Yeah,
or
I
something
think
like
the
that.
last 30 have
Yeah,
to be
probably
green.
same.
There'll be a
That's what
lucky
we
dog,
do.
right?
Yeah.
There'll be a
There's
lucky,
lucky
dog
dogs all the way
situation.
up to I think 20 laps or 30 laps left.
The lucky dog's never really lucky.
It helps.
They're in the back.
Yeah, it helps. You could. I'm sure lucky dogs have been up in the top 5. Come through the field.
Have to look at that. That'd be interesting.
You know what I'm saying? I
Yeah,
bet
we'll
you
Didn't
figure
it
that out.
happen to Shepard last year in
Did he
Eastern
get the lucky
States?
dog here?
I'm almost positive because he was changing a shock and it took
It
him
did.
a lap or two and
It
he
did.
came back to finish 3rd or something.
You're correct.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
the lucky dog does help.
Yes.
Yeah.
You're absolutely correct. I do remember that.
And it's the last car
Yep.
off a lap gets a lap back.
Yeah.
Correct.
Yeah. There was,
Yeah, I
I,
mean-
remember that because somebody whined about it. Somebody was mad or felt they didn't
Yeah.
get it or shouldn't have got it or whatever.
Well, if he was that car, then he's the next
Listen,
one
if
in
it's
line.
in the rules, it's
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
rules from
So
the
does
beginning.
everybody have to run the same size fuel cell? I mean, how does that work?
24, yeah. I mean,
Okay.
they don't have to. Maximum is 20. I think 24.
So
and a
what's
half.
Does
the
it have to be
difference?
perfectly straight down, or can someone bang out
Yeah.
the sides of
Right.
it?
But what's the difference for fuel mileage? Why are some guys getting better fuel mileage than others?
With a track surface like the way it is now, do you think you use more fuel? You're not on the gas as much. 600-700 RPMs
I don't
lower,
think you would. I don't think you're going to use as much gas.
right?
That's for sure. Yeah.
Are you
Cars-
allowed-
I agree.
Are you like
Like
some
there's different
guys
carburetor
different
combinations.
Okay.
Yeah, you
Okay.
can change carburetors
Okay.
and put smaller ones on. You know what
I
I
still
mean?
don't think you're going 160 laps.
I think that you'll see the winner. I think be at 160 if his tires keep on the car.
With no fuel?
There's guys talking about trying to do it.
That's a gamble. So what happens when the last 20 laps there's a bunch of cautions?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Gotta make,
So now what do you do?
You gotta change plans in the moment.
But it might be too late then. What happens
Yeah.
if there's 20 cars left in the race or
Yeah.
25 cars or you're leading and you run out of gas?
Well, if there's
The risk
spotters,
you run.
there's one thing spotters, a good spotter will do, and I have seen them do here, is back the car up to the guy behind them to save fuel even earlier on. So they get them as close as they can. They talk, communicate very well. The driver is saving already on lap 50, or the driver knows to back up if he's leading. The leader's going to get the big advantage, but the guy in second who's trying to catch him is going to burn up his fuel, and you see that a lot of races too.
I've seen too many people run out of gas, so I
But
think
they were a
it's
lap
a gamble.
short. If you remember when I think it was Jeff Hetzler won Eastern States, 2 guys in front of him ran out of fuel, but they were 2 laps short. That's a close gamble. I think Jeff may have pitted and got fuel, or may not, or something. But you saw them; they're 2 laps short. Like it's a pretty close. So
I mean, 160 could technically be I mean, you got your parade laps. There's probably going to be 5, 6, 7 parade laps, right, before you start. So there's.
But will guys want to pack that fuel in there to race? And
What happens if there's no caution? Chances
I
are
would
there's
say
going
pack
to
the
be
fuel in
some.
there. Rear percentage. You need more bite. You need more forward drive. Pack it in. One thing I learned, and I ran out of gas at
Scale
Daytona
that
2
thing.
times. Make sure when you can
With a
come
full
in and get
tank of
gas,
fuel.
you keep fuel. Yeah.
Scale that
think-
thing with
yeah.
no gas in it. And with
that
gas
too.
in it.
But I don't know the right answer. I mean, that's a whole strategy. Everybody's going to have to see what's going on. Everybody's
And
situation
you have to
is
make
a little
weight.
different. And you got to make weight when you're done.
And if it does have tire wear on the track, each tire loses how
You
many
lose
pounds?
You can lose.
I didn't
With-
realize how
you can
much
almost
pounds
lose
a
You
tire
can lose,
were
you
on.
can lose
pounds
like
each tire.
each tire.
How many pounds?
10.
That's
If
40
the tire,
pounds.
if the tire was.
You're not probably going to
completely
lose on the
full.
front, but yeah, that's 30, 40. I mean, you're talking,
So if you don't pit, you may have a problem with weight.
you might have a problem with weight. I would sure like to know if my car's on the track, and hopefully it is at lap, 140 or 45, that it's got, 5, 6 inches in
Put a
it.
fuel
So
gauge in there.
on this topic, man, what's the feeling when you win the 100,000 and you don't make weight?
Oh.
I mean, what the?
Whoever was in charge of that is going to get a good.
I
shot.
like-
Somebody's going
Right?
to get drowned in
Yeah.
Lake
I
McGann.
think it happened to Bloomquist one time.
Yeah,
And
and
what they did was, however amount of pounds he was under, they calculated what that pound was to the money per pound, how much
Let's
he
not
lost.
forget, second place is I think $35,000.
It's like
Right.
winning Eastern States.
It's like
doing
winning
it.
Eastern States.
Yeah.
Not that I
So,
would ever win.
what
$100,000
happens if you don't
race,
make
but
weight?
if I did, I'd quit on the spot.
Somebody's going to get fired.
And
don't know.
two people get to
can't-
feel like
You can't fire a volunteer. We all have
Yeah,
volunteers. You can't fire a volunteer. On our team. We don't have paid
It's
people.
really hard to fire you when you're not paying you.
Yeah,
How do you
all of our-
feel as
all-
the how do you feel as the new winner? The guy that
The
gets
guy that finished second, who just got a
You take a win any way you can get
$65,000 pay increase,
well, that was
You better
what
go
was
buy
that
you a
freezing
beer.
last
could
year?
possibly
right?
vomit. Yeah, could possibly.
Was it
vomit.
freezing last year with the small block race?
Yeah.
Didn't he get DQ'd? He was
I
up
think it was
light.
10
10
pounds.
pounds
And then
under.
Hearn,
Yeah,
then
and it
Hearns
went to
guys
Hearn.
went fucking apeshit in the pits.
yeah.
I mean,
Dude,
yeah.
it's not like your 32nd time winning this. Shut the fuck up.
Well, right. Why should he have been
Didn't
excited
that happen
about
with
that?
Crummel? That happened with Crummel, right? Crummel didn't. got
Yeah, 2
disqualified?
years before
Yeah.
Hearn got.
Hearn got
What was the problem with that?
Crummel.
Weight?
Hearn was light, and Crummel got the
Crummel
win.
won.
Yeah.
So I mean, there's
It
something.
went back to Hearn after that.
It went back to her.
Well, he happened to him the year before, and then he won the next
Yeah.
year.
Oh,
So
yeah, yeah,
the
yeah.
same thing happened to him.
Yeah, so like Johnny
So-
said, I mean, you're gonna want to make that thing heavy with no fuel in it.
But you gotta
Right?
make sure you have your handling, so you're gonna take less fuel and then come in and pit and be handling better at the end. And
Yeah.
It's like a math problem.
It is.
Fuck that.
See, again,
It's like
this
that
is,
thing
this
from,
is
You gotta
one
weigh
of-
your car empty.
it's like the
this
thing
is one
from
of those
then
situations
take
where
off
people,
the
you
spare
know,
It's like
like
the thing
one
from the
mistake-
hangar
30
where all the
pounds
numbers
for
are
tire
flying in front
wear
of
if you
them.
end up with that.
This
You
is
definitely don't want to run out coming down the home stretch at lap 159
right
and 3
front will
quarters.
probably get half more down your back, so it's hard to say. I don't know. You may not even wear.
I would just like to be in the
Unless-
position to run out of fuel in the
Unless-
lead of that race.
I'd rather be out of that race than run out of fuel in the front stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And not
You run
cross
out
the
of
finish
fuel
line.
on the front stretch. You're at least crossing the line.
Yeah, but somebody's probably going to pass you.
Yeah, but you know what? So you're
First
all
to
across
second,
fourth, third, fourth, fifth, still a decent
You're
amount of
still
money.
getting-
Pull a silent
Good.
assassin, pull in front of the field, and you get pushed across maybe sideways. Just in case you needed that, John.
Yeah, okay, I'll remember that.
That's a
Thank
good
you.
idea.
Get
Yeah, that's
plowed.
an interesting thing.
It's dangerous.
I guess
Yeah, I mean
we'll
we've
find
seen
out.
it happen many times at Eastern States.
Guys run
big
out of
races.
fuel.
Yeah, I
2
mean,
to go,
and have these
1 to go, leader
yeah.
runs out, people drop off. So, I mean, 44 cars. The average amount of cars that finished at Eastern States 200 is what, about 15, 18, 20 maybe cars,
Yeah.
roughly?
Yeah.
What do you think? We're going to probably be in the
Oh,
same
yeah.
range?
Yeah, I
Probably
think we'll
20
see
cars
very
that finish.
similar.
Yeah.
Actually
We were
finish.
talking
It's
about-
pretty tricky getting that many cars to
40
that
less
first
laps.
turn,
It's not-
that many laps without doing anything wrong, and they're usually not a big mistake that someone caused. It's usually a real
Something
incident,
stupid.
something checked up, and next thing another piled up. It sucks to see that because you want to see a lot of cars at the end, especially if you're leading it and someone just went in and got some adjustment that they needed. I've seen guys on pit lane adjust the torsion, like a wedge in the car, like get underneath it and start adjusting it for the guy telling him what he needed. And it's pretty crazy what they'll do in those pits.
It's
that
doable,
fast.
but the guy who's piling in is the guy that's got to stop watching the radiator cap and start watching down at turn 1. If you're starting 24th, you know, and
Oh
you
yeah,
know what I
when,
mean? You don't need to pile into turn 1.
you can tell
trying
who
to get
looks
the
right
finish.
over the nose of their car because they don't last too long.
Yeah, you know, it kind of seems to be always the issue. You know, you got the guys that are 20th on back. They're trying to shove. Dude, it's 200 laps or it's
160 laps. You got a long way to go. You're not going to win on the first
What the hell
lap.
are you
There's
doing?
going to be cautions.
Yeah.
There's definitely going to be cautions. We know that. I mean, somebody's going to get a flat or
Or you get
whatever.
two guys in a pissing match from the previous Saturday night, and they
Well,
decide, you know what, you're not winning today. You know what I mean?
I like
now you
that.
got 5
I like
other
that.
guys
Yep.
involved in it.
Yeah,
Gets really heated in the pits afterwards.
it's going to be interesting.
There's a lot of money on the
Well,
line
what
this weekend,
what
so it might
what
be
beef
extra
or
heat.
drama do we have carrying over from last week? Do we have any?
I
Do
think
we
so.
have
I
any
mean, you had some
incidences?
invaders win in the big blocks.
Yeah.
I mean, but I don't know. Is there? We haven't had any beef with anybody, so I don't really know. I mean, I don't know.
Not worth it.
You got beef with the tech guys.
You're yelling at him easy, Johnny. Easy. I was clarifying the rules.
I like how you clarify.
But he was saying it in a loud enough voice we all can learn from his mistake.
Right.
Well, I
I,
got my
think
ears
the race
cleaned
cars were
today.
going when he started and he forgot they ended.
Yeah, so I was clarifying rules. I mean, rules are in place for a reason.
You should walk over with a rule book and like read
You
it
just
like
wanted to make sure everybody was
I wanted to make
getting
sure everybody's on the
rules.
same playing field.
you wanted to
because-
tell the guy who wrote the rules how the rules go.
Well, I wanted to make sure it was happening. I didn't want to tell them how it was going. I wanted to make sure everybody was getting the same treatment. And I don't think that there's, that they don't do the right thing, but I just want to make sure, and I want to see it for my own eyes, what is being done to, we had a situation like we talked about before we went on the air, and I don't want to air that out. But I wanted to make sure, and I wasn't the only one there. There was 3 other people standing next to me from different teams worrying about the same situation.
I like to see people take advantage of the rules in the gray areas and not tell on them, but try what they're doing.
Well, that was a big part of the sport and still is. No, I mean that's
There's
Gary
gray
Blues,
areas in
your,
this sport. The
They're
rule
all
I was
gray and
clarifying is
baseball.
not gray; it is black and white. And it was announced.
The total was down.
It was announced about 6 times. It was announced in my pit about 5 more times one time. So I just wanted to make sure that that was
You
taken
were
care of.
understanding it properly.
Yes, I wanted to make sure the correct things were in
Test
place.
was coming up and you needed to study.
And I needed to study, so we made sure, and they did the right thing, and they always do for the most part, I think.
Sometimes they need a little extra prodding, but they do the right
Yeah,
thing,
so that's what I'm getting at, and we're the big blocks around the top 10 still in points, and that's all.
When people spend a lot of money, they want the rules to be even. They don't need more of a disadvantage than sometimes
No.
they have.
We were trying things because we're deep in the field because we're trying to prep for this week. Maybe it was the right decision, maybe it wasn't. I don't know. Maybe it's going to pay off us not finishing, having 2 rough finishes last week because we're trying some different things to see if they're working. Maybe that plays in our favor this weekend. I don't really know. I hope it does.
Yeah.
You're doing R&D out there.
Well,
Yeah.
I pretty much did.
with 40 grand to win the season championship.
We're out of that.
You're
race.
out of that.
We're out of that.
But
race.
you're not out of the 100.
No.
So
No.
that's where your focus needs to be.
Yeah.
Right now. But we want to stay. We want to stay fairly competitive. We don't want to be falling back or any of that stuff either. But there's a lot. So now this week the focus is on the 100.
You win 100 grand, where's the money going?
Disneyland.
Well,
not that
I'm not an
good.
accountant, so I would assume the government will probably take a third of that, a quarter of that.
I don't know. I heard it was 100,000 cash. Is that true?
I know Brian.
It's real money. It's 100,000 real money.
In real money,
Or is it
so
a check?
I'm sure the government will take it.
Brian Crummell and I pretend we are
Listen,
pirates.
Like we're not going to give you $10,000
booty.
worth of product to supplement.
No,
it's
we
real money.
We have plenty of write-offs to offset that 100 grand, and any other race team.
And
should
then
do it too.
me and John will have to argue it out of who's going to get what.
Maybe an
You have a
exhibition
cut?
race.
You might want to ready
Maybe we
contract
get
right now.
this-
we get you
might
guys
be
out on
becoming
slingshots
official.
and do a little slingshot.
We could do a
exhibition
little
race.
slingshot exhibition
For
race
who
on the
gets to
track.
keep who gets to keep the
He keeps
majority.
the majority of the money.
I like that idea.
That
sounds good to John.
Yeah, it sounds good to John. That's putting me at a disadvantage.
No problem.
That puts me as a disadvantage. I don't know.
Hey, if it's your race, you could write the rule
I'll
book. You
even
can
let
bring
you
a good
start in
engine.
the front, but,
Yeah, thanks.
but I'm going to spin you out.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I have a lot of bills to pay, so that would be nice. I'm sure John does too. So it'd be nice to have that, I guess, and help recoup.
If nothing else, it would be nice to be part of history.
I could tell you right now that I would have a great party. It'd be an amazing
And everybody here would be invited.
in this room. In the room.
Just in this
In the room.
room.
Not everybody, but everybody in this room can
Even
come.
you, John, would be
Yeah,
All
Johnny
right,
Deans,
I'll
you can
come.
come. Yeah.
I'm going to give you a special invitation.
Yes, we'll give you an invitation
Oh,
to the party.
big Joel's 500 invites you got?
Yeah.
Wow,
Yeah.
I'm invited.
Yeah.
The invitation.
There would
It's
be a
like
heck of a
baseball
party.
cards
I think
back
it's
in
going
the
to be a heck of a party
day.
here anyway, Saturday night. To whoever wins it, they're awesome. Good for them.
Here's all. I want somebody to win it and come back to that bar and spend it all on all of us. Just party all goddamn
Boy,
night.
if you could spend $100,000 in the bar, you're doing well, my friends.
Well, I think if Matt Hitchcock won it, he won Eastern States in the Sportsman Division 1 year, and he was buying everyone drinks with the little amount he won. So
Oh, I would definitely.
So he's
buy.
my pick
Right.
to win the 100.
Thanks, Matt.
I don't think that would be a problem.
I think I would definitely buy a round at the lap.
A few grand over there to have out.
I don't think that would be a big deal. To start a little tab at the lap.
It wouldn't be the
That's
first
why
time
you
wasted
want to
money
have
on
a
something
local guy
crazy.
win it, because
Yeah.
then the local guy's going to go up to the first lap and
Some
have at it.
invaders just
The other
gonna
guys are just
take
going to
off
get in
and
their
go
car
home.
and
Take
take
that
that
big
and leave.
check.
It's like, dang.
You can put it in his truck, like.
Definitely needs to be a drinker.
Yeah.
Matt Shepard's always at the lab.
He is.
Brett's at the lab.
He is.
Stewie's
Gotta
at the
give-
lab.
He's
Gotta give
only-
him credit
he's
for an
only there to
outside
make
guy.
sure-
He chills.
He's only there to make sure it closes down at the end of the night. Shuts the lights off.
Yeah.
Yeah, it would be an
We're going
interesting. It's going to be
Literally
second. I'd be okay with second. We'd have a party for second too.
Absolutely.
I think finishing the race, we're going to probably have a party. Just depends on how big where we finish. That would be it.
It might be in the trailer,
It might be in the trailer.
having a few beers.
It could be back at the shop.
Can we use the elevator?
Yeah, we could use the elevator.
It's $1 a ride.
Dollar ride. We got to raise money.
You just won money.
Yeah, but
Still got
depending on where we finish. But I mean, it's great money to start the race just to
If
make
it was
the
me,
race.
man, I'd
I know what's
spend
going
that
on here. We're gonna
hookers,
get there.
cocaine.
There's gonna be a
Oh,
fee at the gate to the party.
Edit that part out.
Like a true lotto winner.
How much is it
Just
to
burn
start?
through that shit.
1,500 on Sunday.
That's the real question everyone should ask. How much is it to start?
I think it's
Only one
15
person wins.
I think it's 1,500 to start, or maybe it's 1,000. It's 1,000 or 15 on Sunday.
it's
to
I
win.
don't remember numbers, man, but it's on the website. You gotta go on and look.
It's pretty big. What's the sportsman race? What's the sportsman race?
$2 grand to win.
$2,000 to win, 100 to start.
Is that what it pay? What's the normal Saturday night?
It's
1,000?
doubled.
It's double a normal Saturday.
Yeah, the
So
only-
everything's doubled all the way up.
No.
It's 100 to win weekly. The only thing that's double, I think, is the win.
So what does it
Hundred
cost you
start,
guys to
yeah.
run a regular Saturday night?
What's that?
What does it cost you to run a regular Saturday night?
I don't.
Oh, that's right. You got a good sponsor.
I knew that was
Putting the
coming.
kid on
I
the
knew
spot.
he didn't have an answer. It was
And he
coming.
doesn't do the accounting for the team. He is just the
that's
driver.
bad.
So on an average, what do you think you guys spend on a Saturday night to race?
I'd say $250, $300.
To run,
Same
To
for you
run.
guys? More?
Yeah, no, it's more.
it's probably more. I don't know exactly what the number is.
I think
It's
you guys are
probably-
$800.
Probably 5, I would think.
Well, I'll tell you what. Actually,
I would say
if
$500 from tires.
if Go Down
Not
is,
really wearing
is
stuff.
listening,
Fuel was
I think he
expensive.
owes us a portion of. I think he owes us a portion of that win. I'll talk to him on Thursday.
Why did
when I
someone
see
you
him.
take someone out when they went by?
No, he got to the track and there's no fuel, and
Yeah, so-
he
so
bought fuel
here's-
from us.
You should have poisoned that fuel.
Did
Uh,
they pay
You
it?
should have
Yeah, he paid. They
Here's
paid.
here's
You should have watered that shit down.
No, they paid. I mean, you know, I'm not
Actually
actually
bang banging his way around
He
there.
came and got fuel from us,
So
like
it's-
3 times.
Yeah, so here's the point I was trying to make, right? So it costs you guys probably, what'd you say, about $200-300 a weekend, right? As a street stock guy, that's about what it costs us to come and race every weekend.
Yeah.
So, the people that complain about, I don't know why the street stock's here, this and that. Believe it or
Yeah,
not,
because
my
you want
car alone, if you include the safety, equipment, the tires, all that stuff, that's $15,000 in
To build
a
a
street,
street
stock.
stock.
It cost me the same amount to run a street stock that it would to run a sports.
Then how come you didn't come to that
So
big race?
because I'm in a tight points battle.
But how much the points battle pay?
For us, we're on the schedule for 26 races, 400 to win each race. Here it's only 10 races, 500 to win, and I believe that the
Chasing money or
champi-
points?
I believe that yeah.
Chase both.
Yeah, you're
Chasing
chasing
both.
both, and I believe it's
There's only
2,500 to
one
win
difference.
the championship, which is
We
pretty
got
much the
twice as
same
many
as
races.
That was the street stock race he had here 2 weeks ago. That was the biggest payout like ever, right?
3,500.
Yes, that is the biggest it's ever been here. Yes, absolutely.
It's probably the biggest it's been
It
anywhere.
got rained
now.
out, didn't it?
With 4 to
The
go.
shootout series is starting to get up there. The series that
3,500
Yeah.
serious payout.
Yeah.
Big blocks don't
For-
get
for us.
3,500.
3,500 is a weekly payoff for big one.
You guys get 33.
3,300. Right?
Yeah.
I mean,
But somebody had
serious.
asked me once. They said, "Listen, if you're spending that much money on a street stock, why are you not running a sportsman?" And it was somebody who's very important here at the Speedway. I won't mention names, but I said, I have an answer for you. I said the reason I run a street stock. I said number one, I said that's what my family always did. We're always full fender guys. I said number two, I said if I wreck that sportsman, I got to take it to somebody and get it fixed. I said, and then it's going to cost, how much does it cost to clip a car? $700.
more than that.
More than
Okay.
that.
So
You're way off on that one.
So I bend up my car, right? Now I take the car to my house. I change the clip at my house. that's the reason that I run what I run.
Gotcha.
And it's not that I have to go to a junkyard to get parts, not at all. I can go to Barron's and pull parts right off the shelf. I can go
Right.
to East Coast Speed, pull parts right off the shelf. But again, it's the ingenuity. It's the grassroots racing.
That's
We are
grassroots.
taking
Yeah.
something that's not. We're taking 30-year-old cars that are not supposed to be doing what we're doing, and we're making them work.
Yeah.
And that's why I've spent 19 years in a street stock.
And that's why the street stock class endures and it remains. I mean,
You know what I give you
Orange
credit to?
lot of
County
fans.
has the
They'll
most
tell you
street
that's their
stocks
favorite.
for the 10 races than any of the surrounding tracks.
Yep.
I give credit to the street stock class because if you actually go to those pits and look at the teams working on the cars, everyone's serious, but those street stock guys are the most serious and into it.
Oh man,
You can-
Oh, you
They're
haven't come
wrenching
to
on
our pit
things.
then. We
I've
don't
seen
take
it all.
shit seriously. we
You've seen-
really don't.
But those guys are just as heated,
Yeah,
just as
yeah.
into it. Like they are taking it just as serious as the guy racing for $100,000.
Listen, you got myself. I'm a nurse. I work for the VA. You know, you got smart guys that are working on these cars. You know, you got engineers, you got doctors that are street stock guys. Why? Because it's the thought behind them. It's
You even got guys that don't have jobs racing street
pretty
stocks.
much. Yeah. I'm not going to mention any names, Ronnie Constable. But
But you might want to start winning our work
Just
and
kidding,
pick
Ron.
one.
It's good, dude. But you know what? It's just again, man. It's and it's when you look at the street stock, you kind of associate it with NASCAR. It's the same body.
Who's
style
the guy who
almost.
came with the Days of Thunder car this week?
I didn't see that.
It was like a 46
Yeah.
Really?
Cole Trickle looking thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Fan favorite right there. As soon as
That
it
There
rolled
was
in.
awesome.
they had one in the enduro race too. Was it the same car?
No, this thing was
No, it was nice.
It looked like it
Really?
came out of Days of Thunder.
Somebody had the
see
mellow
it.
yellow car at the enduro race.
That is awesome.
This was the
Yeah.
City Chevy looking one.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Green and yellow.
I have
That's
to find
cool.
out. I don't know.
I thought it was Cole in
That's
the
a new
car, but he
idea
was wearing
for
bubble goggles.
That's
Yeah.
a scheme. It's a scheme for us.
Somebody should do a Ricky Bobby. Should do that.
We gotta
What is
know-
it? The
we gotta
clown
know
liquor
those
car.
guys.
Clown
or
liquor
whatever?
car.
Yeah.
That'd be pretty cool.
Gotta do the clown liquor.
Did you see
I think you'll see some throwbacks this
You
weekend.
will.
You will.
What
There's
call
at
it?
least
Matt
a couple.
Williams.
There's at least a
Matt
couple.
Williamson? Yeah. Well, no, Harry Barron knows.
Oh.
I was there. I seen it. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Oh,
Yeah,
I-
they did a throwback to Harry Barron's car.
Oh,
so
cool.
Jeff Barron's.
The one that
There,
sits
the number
outside.
3.
The one that sits out front there. Yeah, that's
but
cool.
They did throwback to it.
We didn't do a
That was
throwback.
just
We
when I
actually,
seen it.
technically, in my short career of racing, we did a throwback. We went back to the yellow and black scheme.
Yeah.
So that goes back 5, 6
So
years.
I haven't gone back to the original
220?
pink 220. I haven't done that one.
I wish I still had my shirt. Obviously, wouldn't
Yeah.
fit.
Was it still ballsy to drive a pink car back then?
Well, the
when you did
chassis
it?
was pink.
Okay, all
Just the
right.
chassis was pink.
He's a
Gary-
girl, so it
Gary
doesn't
Ballou,
matter.
Gary Ballou, really, he was the first man to do that, right? Go out there in a pink car and just no shame.
Gary did a lot of first.
You know.
This was a time when women weren't allowed in the pits, and Gary's out in a pink car. I mean, it took. He must have taken a little bit of
That's
balls.
like a woman magnet, probably, right? I mean, they see a pink car out there.
Well, Gary was a. I mean, come on, Gary was a magnet for that anyway, wasn't he? Or at least he
Gary
told
knew
you
what he was doing.
I don't know if he's next door. You want to ask him?
Is he?
Yeah, I don't know.
Why isn't he here?
He should come in for a little quick tidbit.
Gary,
Is that there?
is he?
Yeah, when I went to go, he was sitting out there.
No, that's awesome. He'd be always fun to talk to. Grab him. Why not, right? It's like getting quiet in here. A legend's gonna walk in the room. I mean, you know.
No, ain't anybody over here.
Nobody
No,
over
they
there.
must have left then.
Oh,
They
well.
left. You're lying.
Whatever. If you want to hear from Gary, watch his documentary. Trailer drops this weekend at the Centennial Race.
I
Yeah?
actually got a clip in that I filmed. It was like 3 seconds long. Would be famous.
Yeah. So Gary Ballou's Gary Ballou's documentary comes. It's coming out soon, and you'll see the trailer at his lecture here.
I still didn't get the book. Maybe John will buy it.
Can you read?
I can read.
Yeah, you read the rule book.
I
So
read
know
the
you
rule
do.
book.
I know you do. Yep.
I do read it. I do it. I do. I do read the rule book. Are you gonna just talk to me about that forever now, Johnny? Is that
No.
gonna be my new thing about?
No, but it was fresh.
It was fresh and
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, I got you. But I can read. Yes.
Yeah. Sometimes I try. You ever try like reading out loud, and everyone's like, I don't think he does.
No.
You're like, I can read. And you go to read out loud, and it's a bunch of stutters. And you're like, well, this is awkward.
I'm not a good public speaker. Reading something. It's better if you ask me a question, I can answer it.
Guys, we've been talking for just a little over 2 hours now.
Oh boy.
So,
It's a little
as
enthusiasm.
enthralling as it's been, I don't think we should go much longer. I think at this point the fans are
You're probably sleeping.
they're or they're hungry or like they're
Yeah.
just like
You can make
They're
part
like-
1, part 2, or chop up and keep parts and bits and pieces out of it.
we could. We could, but we're gonna just put it all out there as
Put
it
it
is,
all out.
unedited. We're just
Nice.
gonna.
Oh,
nobody
shit.
said anything too stupid, I don't think. So we're just gonna go for it.
I mean, Johnny does.
I was told like when I
speak.
speak.
Well,
it's
I knew
stupid.
when I invited Johnny that I was asking for at least some stupid things to be.
You must
said.
listen to some podcasts. Like there's always a smart guy and some oh god, here he goes again.
It's true. It is a that is like a podcast trope, right? It's,
You guys got perfect.
I've been doing it. I've been doing
Who's
it
the smart one
solo.
and who's the stupid?
And the problem with doing it solo is I don't have somebody to dump on the whole time to make myself seem, superior. So we're trying something new here. Let's see.
Batman,
Tricky.
Robin, huh? There we
Dude,
go.
that is a total like put your gun in the just put your gun. Holy Christ, why are you here?
Why am I here?
Dude, you need a hug after this, man.
And I'm not giving it to you.
Holy shit. Yeah, I got shit to do, man. Wind up with 6
But,
kids.
That's why you have 6 kids. Ooh.
Well, I think you guys, for the first time ever, I think we really lived up to the name. I think we did. I think we did some dirty talking.
We
And,
did. I don't know about Danny. We sat over there crying.
You know what we're doing? We're gonna invite Danny back later on to another show, and he's gonna talk more and he's gonna know what to do.
We're
warming him up.
We're working on it.
Listen, you know what I do? I tell my daughter the same thing. She's 16. I'm like, listen, Snowflake. And then she gets mad. Kind of like the same, like what you're doing right now. How red your face is getting.
I've seen you
I'm
post
just
on
kidding.
social media. You just gotta take what you post and talk it out loud. Just don't do it.
If you're gonna keep
Just say something, please.
if you're gonna keep winning races,
You're good.
man,
My favorite
Right,
posts
gotta
are
get it
someone
out.
the people that say where they started the race
Yeah.
and where they were during the whole race,
Yeah.
and then don't ever mention where they finished.
yeah. Started 7.
I just read this whole
was up to second.
this whole book, and you did not tell me where
and
you
then
finished.
that's it. Yeah, that's shit that I post.
Yeah.
Where'd you finish? Well, I didn't. All right. Well, I never
Yeah.
bring this shit up.
There's a reason why, right?
Controlling the narrative. That's what you got to do. That's how it goes.
Hey, if you want to sound smart about it, sure.
All right, guys, let's end it.
Bye.
We're out.
Anybody want to plug anything?
I think we did.
Oh, fan vote, sportsman, let me in the race.
What?
I'm gonna race a sportsman class. It's invite only. They didn't give out 500.
The podcast's probably not going to come out till Friday.
Yeah, you gotta listen. Be late for that.
Jake
You
said it was
will
gonna be
be
tomorrow.
the first replacement on Friday morning.
It'd actually probably be better if I wasn't in the race, 'cause then I have to find my stuff.
I'll let you borrow mine.
Oh boy.